Well, hello everybody. We're live. I don't think Ethan can hear us. We can hear him. This is the Wild Snapper over here. I guess he's on my right. Looking at it that way.
How's it going, guys?
He is. He's just kind of starting up YouTube channel. Shoots a lot of original Colts.
Right.
And so if you guys have some questions about he has the ability to look at and examine original single action army and things like that, at his disposal, whereas we'd have to go get ours from our relatives. So go ahead, and if you have any questions, you can ask him. Sound off in the chat if you can see us. Squibload's out there somewhere, and so's Duke, but they're kind of floating around in cyberspace right now. Can you hear us, Ethan? I don't think you can hear us.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Oh, there you go. Well, anyway. All right, Squib. Tell us what your favorite Colt is. Since we can't talk about Smith & Wessons, we'll talk about Colts. Squib ain't even in yet. Oh, I he flashed in and out. Go ahead, Snapper. You tell us about your favorite Colt.
My favorite Colt, it would definitely be this single action army. It's a black powder frame. It was made in 1882. I even got the letter for it, and it actually shipped June 26th of 1882 to Hartley and Graham in New York City, and it ended up in Texas. And it has a very interesting life. I'm going to make a video on the life of this gun. It actually ended up in one shootout, which is kind of cool to have a gun in that. And it was in one family for well over 100 years, and the family I bought the gun from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like we've lost Ethan temporarily. He's trying to figure some stuff out. Oh, well. Anyway, well, it's you and me for now.
That sounds like it, doesn't it, Garrett?
Yeah. So let's talk about that Colt. It's got the bullseye ejector. Let's see. So you're saying it does not?
Doesn't. No, 1882 was a weird year. There's some things that you can have and some things you back and forth.
Okay.
So they didn't change things like all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But this was the original ejector on this gun is the Half Moon.
Okay.
And these are not the original grips to the gun. They're the right grips. The original grips were lost to time, I guess. And It had a set of the later first-gen grips on it where they don't have the eagle on the bottom. But yeah, it has the Half Moon ejector, not the bullseye ejector. Even though I love the bullseye ejector, I actually bought one just to throw on the gun because I like the way it looks.
Okay, that explains it.
It's not original.
I thought I saw that in your last video, and I was like,
I prefer to use the bullseye because it's just better. I like it better.
It is. I like it better myself. Other than in certain holsters, it tends to hang up a little bit, but you're not holster carrying that one.
Am I echoing?
Anyway. Sound good, Ethan?
You hear me?
We can hear you. Can you
All
hear
right,
us?
good.
All right. Squib was in, and then he blinked out, Ethan. Did you
I can send him another link.
Send him another link. He was here and he left.
Yeah.
Duke will be in here in just a little bit, so keep your eye on that. He's on his way back to.
It's hot in his hat.
I bet it is. So
yeah, it's not fun.
Good evening, gunfighter. Good evening, James A. Oh, Duke's out there trying to get his computer running. Hopefully he'll be on just a minute. No, like you were saying, no, it's absolutely true that
all right,
these Colts don't change the year the books say they should. A lot of times they hang on to parts and they keep going on and on and on.
Now, there's something interesting on this gun that I've only seen on one other.
I'll send him another link.
Go ahead.
And so you have the assembly number on your loading port. It's got a 2-digit assembly number. And you pull the bottom the trigger guard off of it, and you'll have the assembly number on the frame. And they match, obviously, because the gun's all original. But I've never seen another Colt except one in a museum that had a 2-digit assembly number. They're usually 3 or 4 digits.
Yeah, well, that's really, when you look at it in history, 1882 is not very far into production for that gun, especially not for civilian production.
Yeah, and it is 100% a civilian gun. It wasn't a military.
Yeah, so, and I have to look at the books. You probably know, but I don't believe you could get a civilian gun until 1876 or
something like that.
77.
I'm sure there was a couple people who bribed people well enough, like, hey, the cavalry's coming through town. How much do I have to pay for you to drop that Colt?
Exactly. Drop it on the ground. They got lost, dropped in the river.
Yeah, we lost it across the river, and everybody now has more money.
Wheels and Levers want to know where Plowboy and Duke are. Well, Plowboy couldn't make it tonight. He's doing something. He said he'll probably try to get in the comment section later on tonight. And now Duke's trying. He's trying to get
working on his computer right now.
Yeah.
He just got back from Colorado, so he's been driving all day, and he was nice enough to still agree to jump on.
Yeah, so, I know it is, Gunfighter. Purdy.
You like that hat? So what are you wearing for a hat, Snapper?
What's that?
What's your hat? What did you have on?
It is a Scala. I bought it in Tombstone.
Cool.
It's a wool hat. It wasn't a very expensive hat, but it's a nice hat. And I reshaped it to be rounded on the top because it had the 3 kind of
the cattleman crease.
Yeah. But it's nice because it's all wool. So if you get stuck in the rain where I live, it never rains. But if I ever do,
yeah. You don't live too far from Fort Irwin, do you?
Nope. No, not at all. Matter of fact, every time, usually before the pandemic, we'd take my son to Disneyland in California every year, or Legoland, whatever. But we'd drive past it all the time.
That's I saw the mountains in the background of that video of one of yours, and I was like, pretty sure I've seen the other side of those mountains.
Side of that mountain? Yeah, you definitely have. And as a matter of fact, that was one place that I went too much when I was in the Army.
Oh, yeah.
They sent me there all the freaking time.
Yep.
But I have a lot of good memories there. As a matter of fact, that's where my wife, she was in the military too. And that's kind of where I decided that I was going to marry her when I was there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I bought a lot of guns in the back of Bradley.
I got to ask, what's that? I'm sure it's original knowing you, but it looks like a stainless airsoft right above your head.
That is that gun that I nickel plated. That is the only gun that's here that is a Pieta.
Okay.
I bought it when I was down visiting my father in Phoenix, and it was a brass frame gun, and I paid $100 for it. So I was like, hey, I can't pass up a gun for $100. And it's a Pieta New Model Army, Remington New Model Army.
Yep.
And since I'm not a huge fan of brass frame guns, I nickel plated it.
Well, that's interesting. But that's historic. We have a Colt New Line 22 short that is all brass, and they nickel plated every one of them things, just to make it look like it wasn't brass.
Just make it look like it wasn't brass. And a matter of fact, on my YouTube channel, I have a little thing about how to nickel plate at home, and that's the exact process I did to make nickel plate that gun. So
very nice.
I got me a nickel plated gun here, but nobody seems to like it very much.
You should have watched Snapper's video on nickel plating, Ethan.
Do what?
You should have watched Snapper's video on nickel plating.
I have.
Saved you some trouble.
Yeah, I have.
I think that's how he actually found my channel, that actually had a channel.
Yeah. And funny thing is, I went and picked up a rifle for my son whenever he gets older, named my son Jeremiah Johnson.
Nice.
And got my hands on a Hawk and Flintlock Invest Arms, and it's a 58 caliber. And
nice.
I went to go look up a review on it today. And, the very first person I saw who had a review on that gun, old Duke. So I was like, "Hey, I know you."
That's actually one of the few guns that I own. A friend gave me one, not an original or anything, but it's like a Cabela's version of it. That's the only gun I've owned that I've never shot yet.
Yeah. You're wondering what the looks are about on this gun. That's probably why they didn't sell too many of them. Somebody's tried to make new grips for this gun, and I don't know if you can see how that Smith & Wesson logo looks after they pried it out of the old ones. Then I got a Phillips head wood screw holding that homemade grip in that's not even drilled in the right spot. It needs new grips. It needs some help.
I don't know what your fascination is with that thing.
Oh, they only made 8,000 of them.
Top or the bottom? Is the barrel on the top or the bottom?
Barrel is on the bottom, and it actually makes it.
That's what I was thinking.
It's kind of like a ruby.
That reminds me of the FN 1903 or 1900 or something like that.
So,
well,
Joe Wesson. Yeah, Joe Wesson actually, he came up with this design, and he went and took a bunch of them European pistols. I know the Dryza was one. He had some Belgian ones, and a man named Clement helped him design this one. And it was such a commercial failure that they got to the point, I think it was in 1918 or 1919, they sold 2 of them per month nationwide. And he got up to the board.
Look what the competition was.
Yeah, that's wise, because Colt already had that 1903 out 10 years prior.
Where's that at? Grab that.
Compare them. Oh, it's over here somewhere.
Yeah, compare them. I want to see the comparison.
Yeah, I do too.
So, yeah, that grip messed up on the Colt, but this was supposed to be the big competition. And John Wesson actually got it to the board, and he's like, I know that last one failed, but I got an idea for a new semi-auto. And they flat out told him, they said, no, you're not allowed to touch semi-autos anymore. And they didn't until the Model 39, I believe, which was in the
Was that
50s.
1939?
No, that was the Model 39. I can't remember the exact date, but I think it came out in the 50s. So they didn't make another semi-auto pistol for a long time.
Have you checked on Squibload?
I haven't seen him. I sent him another link, and I haven't seen him come back up in the comments or in the backstage. So he may have ran into.
If you're out there, he was driving.
May have ran into an issue. Yeah.
But anyway.
Anybody out there in the comments got any questions?
We'll
try
want
to
to
answer.
Snapper show Ethan your grips. He finished the ivory grips. Snapper's frozen.
Is he? Uh-oh.
Did we lose him? We're just losing everybody.
Yeah. Having an
awesome live chat.
Huh. This ain't working out right this morning. He may have had he's
he
moving.
moved. He moved.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, there you are.
There you are.
Hey, I came back. I got off my Wi-Fi to my regular phone signal.
Yeah.
Don't you love it? You spend a crap ton of money on internet, and it's usually what always doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I was looking over there, and I thought, man, he's holding that pose real good.
Now, I'll tell you though,
Really good.
out of handling these 2 pistols, I know I'm supposed to be a Smith & Wesson guy, but
The Colt.
Like that Colt better. I was gonna say Ethan didn't see your grip, Snapper.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
He finished
I
it.
got a piece of ivory from an antique store. And
Yeah, I tried looking
it was a
for him
scam.
after that.
Yeah, but the only thing that's kind of bad about it is once you cut into the center area of the ivory, is it looks brand new. Like these beautiful white grips, right?
Yeah.
So it's always kind of concerned me of, oh crap, if I ever get asked, no, these are really antiques. They just don't look it. But yeah, it's real antique ivory. It's just, it doesn't look it at all. It looks brand spanking new.
It shined up. Task Force Tyler has some questions. Have any of us played Red Dead Redemption? Yeah, 1 and 2. pretty thoroughly.
There's the auto
Over
5.
How about you, Snapper? You Red Dead guy?
Oh, that is probably, it was actually one of the games that got me back into loving Old West firearms. And it sounds
Well, I guess you
dumb.
just
I'm not
had
really
Red
a
Dead.
gamer, but
You just had Red Dead in your last video. Come to think of it,
Yeah.
or not like 2 videos ago. So now I've never actually used the Navy in the game because I never played online.
yeah, it's
So-
actually the best gun in the online game. It's stupid accurate. Well, the original one is too, but I always think it's funny people talk about that Hickok touch shot, saying that's impossible. I was like, then you've never fired a 51 Navy.
Nope.
It's hard, but if you know your gun, that's not an impossible shot by any means.
No.
There's
And Duke
certain guns.
Duke and I are still of the mind that he got. No, it's a very doable shot. I wouldn't argue that, but we're still of the mind that Hickok, with his eyesight the way it was, he got lucky.
He got lucky. I agree.
There's
It's one of those
Squid.
things you happen.
Maybe.
Can you hear us?
Maybe.
His mic's off. We see you, Squib. Can you turn his mic on even?
No, he should be on.
We see him. We don't hear him. And there he is. Hello. Hi. But yeah, that's a. I've never used the Navy in Red Dead, but yes, I played a lot.
Yeah,
of it.
it's good, but they only have it on the online. A matter of fact, I'm going to be doing a longer video on that, comparing the one in the game, and I'm going to basically bring up that they used the right gun, just the wrong model of the gun. They should have used 51 Navy conversion.
Yeah, that made sense.
Because
How does
if
it load?
anybody,
Yeah.
it loads just like a Colt single action army.
I get that. I mean, in the game, how does the 51 Navy load?
Like a 51 Navy, but the guy does it so fast that he does the steps, right? He'll grab the 51 Navy and like with one hand, really, really fast, you'll see him pull down and then put his finger across the back of the caps and then rotate. I mean, it's unbelievably, impossibly fast and you can barely see him doing it. And I would love to be able to load that fast, but it's nowhere near realistic.
Paper cartridges, man. Paper cartridges. That was
actually the only thing I was going to bring up about it is that the only way you could get fast is paper cartridges or just swapping the cylinder out.
Yeah, and that's not quite that fast itself.
No,
Not that easy.
no.
Let's
No,
see
where
here.
would you carry the thing? A loaded cylinder? You can carry a cap loaded cylinder on your person? Well, that'd be scary.
Hey, Garrett,
Yeah,
just
it would
remember,
be, actually.
making spare cylinders is just as easy as stamping out spare magazines, especially for individual firearms.
Who said
Anyhow, that's
that?
where I'm going to leave that one at.
Who said that?
What?
Who said that?
I'm being sarcastic.
I get that, but it sounds like a comment you read somewhere or something.
No. I've actually heard that before. They're like, oh, it wasn't that hard. They had the machining down. They had interchangeable parts. Kind
I
of,
think the
but
cylinder is the hardest part to make.
yeah,
Yeah.
you got to time them all individually. Let's
That's
see
the
here.
hard part right there.
Yep. Brass Tard 762 wants to know. Well, wait a second. Smith & Wesson should have just made that in 32 ACP. Yep. And they actually tried doing that. And I can't remember the exact number, but I think they made 800 of them in 32 ACP, and they fixed some other things on it. But that was the one that the board at Smith & Wesson was like, nah, we're sticking with revolvers. Let's see here. Gunfighter
Ethan,
was wanting
Duke,
to know.
Duke needs a link, Ethan. Duke needs a link.
He needs another link? All right.
Yeah.
Did anyone see Duelist Colt Single Action Army video this week?
Yes, I did. Watch the whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I always watch it when he comes out.
You might lose me for a second here.
Okay. As far as the Duelist video went, I really, really enjoyed it. There was only one thing that I thought might be a little off, and it wasn't something he said necessarily. It was when he was talking about the Remington guys all complaining to him that Colt stole the top strap design for Remington, and he said, well, that might be true. But
Wasn't it the guy that actually worked at Remington, ended up working for Colt later on? He was the one who did that?
well,
Or am I wrong?
yes and no. Want to hold this up again if I can get it in my camera. Woo.
That
Well,
root is
people,
so
here
cool.
is a top strap on a Colt that was designed in 1854 and 55, which was a good 7 years before, 6 years at least before Remington came out with their pistol. So I'm pretty well convinced Colt had, as far as American made, Colt had the first top strap. Adams had the top strap clear back in 1851 in Europe. And so the top strap has been a Colt thing for a long time. A lot of people forget the root style guns, forget that they existed. And so, yeah, really a lot of the things Remington have came from Colt, especially their lock work.
And it's really not too hard to believe that coming up with a top strap is some really crazy new invention either. I mean, it's kind of a simple, we need to make the gun stronger kind of thing.
And at the same time, though, you have to make the gun still operational as far as black powder fouling goes. Because you and me both know that those Remingtons will foul out quite a bit faster than Colts.
Fast, yeah.
And I don't know if this 55 will do the same thing or not yet. But they fixed that in the 73 single action by adding the free spinning bushing. So,
which I think is really funny because when they started Colt in the 90s, 80s and 90s, they got rid of it. I mean, I see why, because they're shooting smokeless out of them. But at the same time, it's not that big of a deal. And plus, if you wear your cylinder pin out, it's, it's easier than replacing the whole cylinder.
Exactly. But yeah, I really enjoy Duelist videos on Colts. There's always a lot of information to be gleaned from those videos. Go back, watch them 2 or 3 times, and you'll always learn something new. Hey, George. Good evening, George Washington. Ethan, you got highlighted there.
You guys are real choppy to me. I don't know if I am on your side or not, but
we're not choppy to each other.
I got Dukey's link.
Not to each other.
There you go.
Choppy. You're getting better though.
This is kind of a
it's getting better. I got Duke the link, so I emailed it to him.
Jake Away, hi, howdy. Can't stay long. Well, I'm glad you stopped by. What do you think of inner arm single action revolvers? Are they good or are they junk? I've heard a lot of things. I've known people that own them. I've never personally owned one, so I can't give you an opinion, but maybe Snapper can. I don't know.
Say, what was it again?
Inner arms single action revolvers.
No, I don't know nothing about them.
I've heard they're... I don't know exactly. I can't give an opinion because, like I said, I've never owned one, never shot one. I've heard people that had them. Really can't think of any complaints they had.
I think that the only good representation of a Colt that's made today would be a Uberti or maybe the Pieta too. I've never played with the Pieta versions, but it's really close to the real Colt. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of parts that you can interchange. Not all, but like the cylinders on a Colt are much smaller than on the Ubertis. They don't look smaller, but they will not fit in. They won't interchange. You can put a real Colt cylinder on a Uberti, but you can't put a Uberti cylinder on a Colt.
Yeah, and I wonder if that holds up with the Cimarron Model P still, because they supposedly had a smaller cylinder. I don't know if that's true or just. Hey, Ethan,
I would love to try it actually.
Can you get that? That you got to highlighted a.
All right, here we go.
See if you can take that off.
There's Duke. All right, invite me. Add the stream.
There he is.
There we go.
Ethan, can you hear me?
Hey, what's up, Duke?
Hey,
there he is.
Yeah,
I can't make
more. Thank you.
Got the message for the link. I got the link.
Hey, Ethan, can you
That's
take that? Take that. You can go ahead and take that comment off. You got highlighted, Ethan. And
I think my camera or my phone's about to die.
Well, if you do, then it'll just be us 3.
There's Garrett. There you go.
Hey, Ethan,
I can hear you
now? Well, then take that comment off that you got covering Duke and Snapper up.
I have no clue what I did there.
There you go.
There it goes.
It's really starting to bother me.
And I can only stick around for a few minutes, boys, but I figured I'd stop in and say hello at least.
Okay. Duke, you're down there with Snapper. Snapper, Duke, Snapper.
Oh, I know Duke very well. I watch your videos. I'm a subscriber.
Good.
Very good.
One thing too, now that we have a lot of people around, again, would like to apologize for having my face covered. It's nothing that I enjoy doing. I just don't have a choice right now. There's reasons, and they're good reasons. So please
They
understand.
just call it coronavirus.
I know it's not that. It's not that.
Yeah.
Hell, that's one of the few times I will take everything off my face. But no, I'm not. There's a reason behind it, and it's because of content that I make. There's reasons, guys. So I just hope you guys understand and forgive me for that.
I definitely understand.
There's probably those out there that think that the rest of us ought to put a mask on too.
Did you shave, Duke?
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
yeah,
shaved.
like 3 weeks
Oh,
ago.
as I am.
You trimmed. See, a lot of times Duke and I both have a mask on. You just can't see what's going on. I like to mask the old double chin.
Yeah, when they showed that video you shaved, I'm like, who the hell is that on the channel? And then you started talking, I was like, holy crap.
That's exactly what I said when I saw it. I was like, that doesn't look anything like Garrett.
Well, you should have seen the look on my kid's face when he first saw Garrett after he shaved. He's about 1 year old, and he saw Garrett. Garrett went and picked him up, and he looked at him and went, like, I don't know who you are.
Well, Ethan, he's one of the reasons I shaved.
Yeah.
He'd get a hold and wouldn't let go. Exactly.
So
what's going on, Duke?
Not a whole lot. I had to go to Casper today to do some paperwork for the new job, so that's going to be fun.
So you've
how are
been
you liking the new job
home
so far?
for a few days?
Yeah, I got back yesterday afternoon. Yeah, I drove back. I was going to come back Wednesday, but they had a little snowstorm come through and a bunch of wind, so I decided to put it off till Thursday.
Yeah.
well, Duke, I went and bought my my kid his first rifle, and I went to go look for a review on it. And you know who the first person I saw was?
You got that Invest Arms, yeah.
Well, I got the Flintlock 58 caliber.
Oh, 58, nice.
Yeah. What did you think about that rifle? I didn't get all the way through the review.
I
Let me
liked
tell
it.
you what Duke thinks. It's got too much brass on it.
Yeah.
There's that. As a muzzleloader, I love it. As a historically accurate piece, it's a pile of junk.
I've already looked inside the lock, and the very first thing that caught my eye was that is a coil spring.
Yep, coil spring on a guide rod.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, wait a minute, where's my mainspring at?
Yep. So that's one thing that the CVAs, even though they're cheap, it's like the CVAs are like better for historical representation after you take a grinder and grind off all those fancy stamp marks on there. You grind it smooth because they've got the accurate locks, they've got the accurate springs in them.
Yeah.
The terms, I love that one of mine. The only problem I noticed is like at 50 yards, elevation is perfect on it for 50 and 100, but it strings the shots out about that wide in a flat line every time.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
So here's another one I got that was actually this is a weird one.
I showed him already.
Yeah.
Yo, that underhammer, yeah.
That was a gift to me.
One of those one time, and I got to thinking, it's like, if you don't have properly fitting caps, as soon as you cock that thing, they're going to fall right off.
It's going to fall off. Yeah.
Carry it upside down.
Yep.
But I hear a lot of people just love them.
Oh, yeah.
They're supposed to be real fast.
It was actually a gift to me from my local gun store guy. He bought it for me. I was like,
That's
huh,
cool.
that's kind of
In other words, you couldn't
interesting.
sell it.
Well, no, a guy walked in. Yeah, probably. No, a guy walked in with both this flintlock and that underhammer, and he was wanting to sell them. And he bought that underhammer and said, "Here, you can have that." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
So, Snapper, I'm going to ask you to show off your grips there one more time so Duke can see them. Tell him about how you got them.
So I like going around to a bunch of the antique stores and look at their furniture because they actually you'll find a lot of ivory sometimes. Not always, but you'll find it over time. Find something that's big enough that you can modify and turn into a set of grips.
Nice.
And the real price for these grips, like if you had to have these made, you're going to look crazy amounts of money. But I literally have maybe $120 in these grips, max, maybe.
Right. Yeah, I looked at a set of ivories, and the guy that was making them was out of New York. It's the same guy that Mike Bellevue had make. And it was like $400 for a set of grips, which I thought was okay. By the time I got this money saved up, then they changed the laws, so ivory cannot cross state lines. So
Cross state lines.
In Colorado to make me a set of ivory grips, and I was like, it wasn't even worth it at that point.
Yeah, I think most places you're going to be near $1,000 for a set of grips.
Yeah, nowadays.
Yeah. And I did this maybe 2 months ago, maybe max.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was so tickled pink. I was like, I can't believe I actually got a set of real, ivory grips now, and it didn't cost me almost anything.
Yeah, because that $400 price, that was in 2014 that I looked at that.
I was looking myself, and I clicked on his that same guy. I'm pretty sure it's the same guy because I saw it off of Mike Bellevue's channel. And
I can't think of the guy's name, but it's been a long time. But yeah, he specialized in ivory and did some great work, but won't be able to buy him now from him.
Before this happened, the closest I got was there's another place I found that you can actually buy powderized ivory. When they cut it, they save the powder. And right. I cast a set with mammoth ivory, and it looks like crap. It's not worth doing.
There was a company, and I think they're still making it. It was a fake ivory, but it looks and feels and acts just like real ivory, but it's a polymer. I can't remember the name of that company, but Uberti was selling some specialty guns with them on there, and you look at them, they look like real ivory. They had the grain in them, but they were $600-700 extra bucks on top of the gun if you bought them with the gun already set up.
Let's see. Yeah.
See,
all right.
If you can hear us, somehow your microphone's off.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. It says on my end that he's set on mute, so I can't adjust that. I think it's in his lower left-hand corner if he's on his phone. Let's see here. George Washington's looking for a reproduction fur trade style musket. Well, we're getting ready to do a video on that.
Northwest Trade Gun.
That's exactly what we're doing the video on. And I started shooting it on Sunday, and it downpoured on me. I was sitting there. I was loading up. There's no rain, nothing. Load it all up. Open the pan. Start putting a little powder in there. Immediately, big old fat, hairy-legged raindrop falls right in the pan.
Oh.
So I got some shooting done with it on Sunday, but we got to reshoot the video because there wasn't enough good footage in that rainstorm to. There was a lot of me sitting there trying to get it to go and rain falling on the pan, and it was a mess. But yeah, Northwest Trade Gun. Check out Military Heritage.
A reproduction. I don't know you necessarily have to go to a Military Heritage. That's the cheaper end. That's where we do our stuff. Like I said,
he'll
show this off. It's pretty historically accurate. They come with a shiny steel, polished steel barrel. I completely browned that one down with Laurel Mountain Forge browning solution. And, I wound up, when all said and done, I probably had $600 in that gun. And it shoots and works just like a Northwest Trade gun. But you can spend money. There's places you can spend money and get a custom one, too, that are. But if you're looking for a mountain man and gun, and Duke can attest to this, you're going to be looking for more smoothbore stuff than rifled for the most part.
Yeah.
Depending on what era you're looking at.
Speaking of flintlock, Ethan.
Go to Track of the Wolf. Any of their kits would be appropriate, even with the rifled ones. Tennessee Poor Boy style would be appropriate. Dickert would be appropriate. Kit Carson actually carried a Dickert out when he was a trapper. Brown Bess muskets, they were out there, not as to the extent that the Northwest Trade guns were, but there were Brown Besses in the trade. And there was a few Charlevilles out there too.
I'm almost to the point of saying the Northwest Trade gun is the gun that won the West. What do you think, Duke?
Almost, yeah. There was a lot of them.
What were you going to say there, Snapper?
thanks to you, I ended up buying that. It's a British Sea Service pistol. Yeah, it's a real one.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
It's
Yeah,
a
Speaking
I
of
shoot
real,
it. Yeah, I shot
speaking
it
of
already
real
a
ones,
lot.
so when I went to go pick up this little ugly pistol that nobody likes, I went and
I like it. It's cool. It's different.
It's a Smith and Wesson.
The grips are
So
hideous.
anyhow,
You need to put new grips on it, and I think everybody will change their mind.
so I went to go pick that up in the pawn shop. I went and I saw that there, and I was like, "You guys know what you got there?" And they're like, "I don't know. It says Smith and Wesson, but we don't know really what it is." And on the wall behind them, they had an original 1795 Springfield, an original 1840 Springfield, an original. They had the Jezreel flintlock rifle, and they had an original 1766 Charleville. And I was
That's
like,
something I want to get.
"Can I handle that?"
What's sad is most of those are guns we passed up at the last auction. Hey, Duke, you know that 6-shot 49 pocket model?
Yeah.
It's in the pawn shop about 75 miles from here now. They want $800 for it.
Nope, they marked it down 6.
The auction.
They're wanting 6 for it now. They also have a Union Arm. They have a Union Arms. Looks like a little Remington 36 or actually I think it's 32 caliber pocket pistol. Round barrel. They had a lot of cool guns in there. But I handled that Charleville, and it was a 66, and it had that rear band retaining clip. And to be honest, those military heritage guns, it looked a lot like them. It even had the bayonet lug welded on, kind of canted. So
Nice.
yeah,
We went for a Thunderer, and so we had our mindset on it, and we let an original 1860 in pretty good condition go for I think $400. It was up there at the pawn shop for about $1,100.
They have a.
That's not a bad price though. Where I live, those things are original 1860s are in the $2,000 to $3,000 range here in Vegas. They had a 49 pocket model here that was like $2,400, and it wasn't even in great shape. Like those guns go for a lot here on this, this side of the country.
Yeah, they have 3 of those pocket models, and they have an 1877 Colt double action for $800.
That's my dream gun. As a matter of fact, I want one so damn bad. Oh, excuse me, my language. That's the other gun that I've been looking for a while now. Once I got the real dream gun, I finally that's the next really, really important gun that I want to get. It's a 77.
Yeah.
Okay, it reminds me of something I heard when I was little. You got your dream gun. What
Once
about
you get
your
it.
73 and your 73 Winchester? Those are all dream guns too. Yes, but now we have a new dream.
That's another dream.
But now
There's
we have
another dream.
Yeah, that's how it goes. As a matter of fact, my wife thinks it's insane because it's like, oh, you finally got your dream gun. We just spent a bunch of money on it. It's like, yeah, but now that I got that, there's a new dream.
It's a new dream. So, Duke, what's the new dream now that you finally conquered the 1911?
66 or a 60 Henry, one of the two.
Yeah.
What kind of 1911
that's
did you get?
crazy money.
The Tassos. Now I got to get the
That's a pretty
stag
close
grip
copy.
for it. Yeah, this thing is pretty awesome. I haven't shot it yet, but it's pretty smooth.
What is it again?
The Tassos. The trigger on
Okay.
it's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yep.
Trigger.
Let's see here.
wish I had
Task
a
Force
bunch of
Tyler.
Go ahead.
Have I ever been to Tombstone? No, but I may be going to that state here in about a few days. But I probably won't be having very much time to go sightseeing.
It's the best place in the world.
If you do get on Santee's channel, Ethan, get us a bunch of subscribers.
Anybody? Have you ever heard of a place called Camp Navajo?
I haven't.
I haven't
No.
either. It's some pogue base. I guess that's where I'm going to go become a
Ooh.
pogue.
Language.
I'm guessing you're probably doing border security, maybe? I can't think of what the heck you'd be doing down there other than that.
Oh no, I got to go get MOSQ'd
Fun.
because the new unit I'm going with are all Lord, don't strike me dead. MPs.
Oh.
They
Well,
kind of don't like me
I'll
over
tell
there,
you a little
actually.
secret, Ethan. Believe it or not, that was my first MOS. I was an MP at first. I hated it. I hated it more than anything in the world.
Yeah, I've already gotten a taste of it.
Yeah, they
Matter of fact,
think, yeah, they're not the greatest. No offense to
the
anybody
very
that's
first
an
thing
MP out
I
there
heard
watching.
was, first thing I heard when I got there was, what's your MOS? And it was from a slick sleeve. Somebody never deployed nothing. What's your MOS? 11 Bravo. Ew. Why? Like, oh, I don't know. Why are you still a slick sleeve and you're a E5?
Yeah. Yeah, I never got along being in. I hated it the whole time. I was the time where you're actually counting the days, the minutes, the seconds, the whole 9 yards. So you're out. Yeah, that's how it was in those units.
Okay, it's freezing.
Yeah. So I gotta ask you, Snapper, and I'll get back to these questions. What were you, light, mechanized, airborne?
I was more. I was attached to a striker unit most of the time.
Okay.
My wife, I was supposed to be airborne. I just never got to go. I was with the 4th to the 25th Infantry Division for a long time, and so was she. She actually got her wings. And what I learned in the Army is if you want something, you tell them, I'm not going to do that no matter what you say. You'll get it instantly. But if you're like, hey, I want this really bad, you'll never get it. Because I was like, I want this really bad. Like, this is my whole dream of joining is to go airborne. And every time there was a class coming up, I'd always end up at NTC, Fort Wainwright in Alaska for Arctic training and stuff like that. And it never failed. And they're like, oh, well, since he wants to go, we'll eventually get him. And then by the time that happens, you're already deploying, and then you leave. And if I would have just said, heck no, I'm not going to do airborne school, no matter what you say, I would have gotten it right away. So that's a secret to get what you want in the military. You tell them what you want, you pretend you don't want, and you'll get it.
You see, I learned that the hard way. I'll get back to these questions right quick, but I started out as a private, and I was like, I want to be a 240 gunner, nothing else. Oh,
no,
well, you're a MATV driver.
That thing's heavy. Ooh.
Yeah, actually, I liked it. I still like the 240. I was like, okay, but you're also a saw gunner.
It's heavy.
Yeah, I still like it. I like
bounding on a position with a saw is not fun with those big heavy plastic, especially if you're in the desert with those plastic heavy ammo trays, 100-round trays. Or 100 100. They get soft and they'll just fall off the gun, and then it's miserable. Bounding on an opposition it sucks with that gun.
I couldn't see it, Duke. I couldn't see it. The light was too bright.
Yeah, I was trying to adjust it, but that's one that I got to shoot. It's a friend of mine. It's a 1914.
Is that a Mauser?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's a Mauser. It's a 1914.
Yep, 32 Smith and Wesson.
Here,
or 32 UCP, whatever it is. It's 32 something. Yeah, I got brain.
I'll show you an old German World War I gun here. Airsoft gun.
Well, you know, so once upon a time we were going to focus on German milsurps.
This is actually where a lot of the ideas for this gun comes from. That's the Dreiser.
That's a cool gun.
32 auto. That is it is a weird little gun. Your slide is up front.
Weird.
I thought you were going for the C96.
Oh yeah, we got a C96 too.
You guys want
to see C96? You didn't bring that up.
Yeah, we could have
no, we don't have no ammo for it.
C96, and you didn't bring it up.
Next time. Yeah. Next time.
So I'm doing research. So I've been doing research on the Hartley and Graham, where this came from, and I actually got their 1882 catalog, and it actually has air rifles in it. Like, I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. 1882.
Yeah. Air rifles go back a long way.
Yeah, we don't have any ammo for this, but if you look at it, this gun's Cerakoted. And I actually reached out to, I don't know if you guys know Mark Novak about this, and he said that's actually something a lot of gunsmiths do with ones that are pitted really bad, and I can actually see under the Mauser marking here that, well, you can't see it, but it's actually pitted pretty bad, so we're going to leave it Cerakoted. But, yeah, this is a
Right.
Bolshevik C96. It was sold to the Soviet Union right before World War II.
We're gonna have to
Is
all
that
get
the
together and do a
735 or
Guns of
whatever
Red
it
Dead.
is?
Whoop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
763.
763, yeah.
Yeah, and it has the whole need to get a buttstock because you can legally put a buttstock on this because it's considered if it was designed for a buttstock and it was made, I think, before 1935, that you can have a buttstock on it. I had to look that up, but
Somebody else
then
was telling me
next-
it has to be the original one that was made for the gun.
yeah. This here though, that is a real that P08 Luger.
Those are
Caleb,
beautiful.
I helped him get this one off of. This was his Christmas present to himself, by the way.
Hi,
He went and bought
right.
himself a C96, a P08 Luger, and a K98 Mauser, and they all had to be matching.
Can't go
And
wrong with that.
This is an all matching 1916. He got it from, I can't remember the name of the website, Collector something, Heirloom Collector, something like that. But this gun, we don't shoot it very often because even the firing pin matches. They numbered the firing pin.
Oh,
And
nice.
this gun is the best shooting handgun I've ever fired. I can consistently hit out to 100 and 150 meters with this gun on a 10-inch steel plate. So,
Nice.
and even the magazine matches.
That's cool.
So, yeah, we don't shoot that one very often. We're going to probably do a video on it and not shoot it much after that, but yeah.
So, how long you get to keep giving speeches at the fort, Duke?
Oh, I'm done with that. I was done last Wednesday. So
Are they shut
a
down?
little over a week ago. So I started. Yeah. Well, I got terminated on that one because it was end of season. So now I'm with the third-party contract company for the night security guard position. So I go to being by myself all night long.
All right, maybe
Squib's
we'll
back
get
one
Squib
more
here.
time, hopefully.
Yeah, I keep on seeing his deal come on down there. Let's see. He might be in
I
bad
think
signal.
he's driving through bad signal, probably.
He's
Yeah.
driving through because I think he came through here today. Because he's going to meet up with Dustin today, I thought. So he might be in a bad spot.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. I think there were some other questions back there.
Oh, just talking about the Tassos and how good the reviews are on them. Yeah, a lot of those 1911s get really good reviews.
I wish I'd have bought it a year ago when it was $350 instead of paying $550.
Yeah,
that's still not bad.
That's
not bad.
I got that ATI when it first came out because I'd watched that Hickok 45 video. I never regretted it. That's a good pistol, even if it is made in the Philippines. Hi, iPod Walker.
Well,
yeah,
Squib, we talked about.
Yeah,
we talked about a different dream. Squib's still down there, but I keep seeing that thing flash off and on. Anyway, we'll go back to Snapper. We talked about a different dream. What's the different dream now? The new dream.
The 1877. Everybody says avoid them just because they're so but I love it. I think it's a beautiful gun and it seems like a fun challenge too. Oh no, the Colt. 1877.
The 1870. I thought you said 1777. Okay.
I would love to get a Charlottesville as well. Don't get me wrong. That's one on my bucket list.
I'm gonna step right up and say right now that a lot of the stories of them being so unreliable are probably blown up. Overblown. You look at it; they're the second most popular cartridge Colt revolver. Of the era before the 1911. I mean, they made a bunch of them dudes, and if people had been breaking them left and right, they wouldn't be buying them left and right.
Well, they do have.
And the thing
they
too
are-
is,
Yeah. Man, signal's horrible.
What'd you say, Duke?
I said they are pretty frail, but it's just because the parts are just so small. But they're not hard to fix.
Yeah, the main frail piece.
What are you
is
talking
just
about
the
now?
Trigger return spring. We're talking about the 1877.
that's the biggest part
Oh.
is the trigger return spring.
The biggest trouble is the trigger return spring.
Well, like I said in that comment we made, it's the people that told me that those guns are so hard to work on, and the same people who will get a Colt single action Army clone or whatnot, and if it's not timed, they're like, "Oh, you can't. It's no good. It's a parts gun." It's like timing a Colt is not hard.
Nope.
Those are the same people.
Especially if it's over rotating. That's
Yeah.
the kind I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Oh,
just shorten
yes.
the trigger up. Shorten
Yeah.
the trigger or shorten the hand a little bit.
And
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many books, and the thing about it too is they're not hard. Once you understand the full principle of what's going on, it's not hard.
Well, the trick is once you've
sweet.
cleaned a few cap and ball revolvers, it's not hard because then you really know the workings real well.
Yeah.
Most people who have just the cartridge guns have never had the action apart.
That is
Yeah.
true.
iPod walkers.
Birdie, and you'll learn how to gunsmith them pretty quick.
So,
No kidding.
iPod Walker. I went and I looked into that 1776 British rifle, and that's a pretty cool gun. I think they had if I remember right, I was looking at it, I think they have 10 groove rifling on that thing, which, that's quite a machining feat for back in that day. And I think, if I remember right, Rifle Shop actually makes a kit for that. If they don't, they probably just make parts, but you could probably build one if you wanted to from them. Tank the Tortoise. For those with kids, what is the first gun you got for your kids?
Well, it's right there, isn't it, Ethan?
Yeah. So normally I would say get your kid a good 22, something like that. But I named my kid Jeremiah Johnson, so we had to get him the Hawken.
Flintlock.
And this one's a
Hawken.
flintlock and a
Just don't let
58
them around
caliber.
any livers. Don't let them around
And
any
I
livers.
actually-
Okay.
I'm gonna most likely give him this one too, which is a 45 caliber underhammer. And the reason why I'm starting him out in black powder is because I've seen kids who've never shot before grab a semi-auto and put 2 or 3 rounds through it, and then turn around and be like, "Oh, here you go." Yeah, it always scares me. So I'm gonna start him out on that. Not only that, it's gonna teach him to be a better shot. Teach him how to doctor them loads up.
I don't have kids, but the first gun we got for my nephew Martin, he's been driving me around today, amazingly. He's getting big, but he just got his driver's license. But the first gun we got him was a pump action Mossberg 410. We stripped all that shellac and all that junk off, completely redid that wood. That wood looks really good under that shellac, and we just went back with a linseed oil coat, and engraved his name in it, and he's had that pump action 410 for a long time, and it's a good gun. How about you, Snapper? Got kids?
Yeah. My son's 10. The first gun I ever gave him, I had it already. It was this little 22 Savage. And the second gun I ever got him was his first pistol was a Heritage Rough Rider.
Yeah,
Little single action Army 22. So yeah.
And actually, I didn't have a Heritage, but my first pistol, I actually can't remember if it was a 44 Remington New Model Army, or there was another one. I think I had the little 22 first. I had a German I can't remember, H&S or something like that, 22 single action Army pistol that I had a duct tape firing pin in, made out of a finishing nail. Nice. Pretty good though.
Yeah,
we're still around.
Yeah, it is.
My first gun was a 410 single shot Stevens. So, what was your first gun, Duke? Duke, have you figured out how to put that back together yet?
Yeah. Oh, it's thrown for some damn reason. I ain't getting things lined up. My first gun is a single shot, 16 gauge Winchester Model 37A.
And them are not cheap nowadays.
No, but Dad paid $35 for it.
That's sweet.
And my grandfather had the Model 37, which predated it, and he paid $35 for his when he bought it.
Yep. Anything with that big W brings a lot of money, even a single shot. He said, Gunfighter 45 ACP can't get this out of his mind. Assault Winchester 94, full ivory stock and grip and stainless engraved, everything else. Texas Ranger Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah,
That belonged to a Mexican president, I believe. Duke can probably straighten you out, but I believe the guy that was,
but yeah, it was a fancy gun. I know which one that is.
And when Pancho Villa or whatever took over, that was the first thing he took. I think unless I'm thinking of a different gun, and that's how it wound up in the Texas Rangers' hands. But I know it was a presidential gun. I know what you're talking about.
That's pretty cool.
Can you imagine making a full-length stock out of ivory snapper?
No, like that. It would be great. That stuff is amazing to work with.
It did look like you were filing on foam there.
It feels like a foam, but really dense.
Should have titled that video "Working with Ivory ASMR." Got 30 million views.
Yeah. It was quite unique. It was nothing I've ever worked with. It was more like chalk than anything.
Well, you want to play a little around?
What were you about to say, Duke? Duke was saying something.
What's that?
What were you about to say?
No, my YouTube. I refreshed my YouTube, and then it was repeating what we were saying.
Oh,
okay, gotcha. What were you about to say, Ethan?
Oh, you guys want to play a little round to guess that gun?
Yeah,
you guys will probably get this.
Oh, come on, Ethan.
My screen is so tiny I can barely see anything.
Nobody's gonna guess that gun, Ethan.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Somebody probably will.
Hold it up there again.
I would put my money on iPod Walker, knowing what it is, because he knows a lot of these rare guns.
It's not really a rare one. I think we actually talked to Duke about it once.
Yeah, I know which one that is. I just can't think of my name of it.
I'll have to. We'll let the comment section think about it. Right. Do what?
It's not Egyptian iPod.
It was the one competing against the Garand for a while.
Yep. Well, it actually almost ended up being the main battle rifle for the Germans.
Not quite, gunfighter.
iPod Walkers
are Egyptian.
It kind of looks like the Hakim, but it's not. I'll give you a hint. It's a FN, made in Belgium.
It's Belgium.
Oh, it's an FN. That's okay. Yeah.
It's the predecessor to the FAL.
Yeah, I know which one it is now. I just can't think of the name of it.
I'm the only guy here going, I have no idea.
They're not going to guess, so I'm about to tell them. That is an FN 49 in 30-06.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a Luxembourg model. Bought that rifle for $120 at a gun auction. Probably my best deal I've ever got in my life.
Well, we were playing this game, are we? I'll slide over and give him one that might not confuse him so badly.
You got to make it tricky, Garrett. Oh. So you getting snow up there, Duke?
It snowed up here Wednesday, and there's a little bit of snow here at Fort Laramie. Up at Casper, my God, there was a lot of snow. But cool thing I seen this morning is an elk got smacked by an 18-wheeler, and I was going to pick it up when I come back home, and it was already gone. It was like a 5x7, or I think is what I could see on it. I just see it at a quick glance, but it looked like it was a 5x something. But
I'll give you one. I'll tell you right now, this is a Winchester, and you just have to see if you can figure out what. If I can get it up here in the frame. It's a 12 gauge.
Because it was made about 1920, I'm going to take a guess.
Well, the design is very similar to something you have in your lap.
The year.
Oh, 1911. Okay.
This is, yep, it's a Winchester 1911.
I wasn't very
Widowmaker.
far off.
The Widowmaker. John Browning left Winchester, went to FN to produce his Auto 5, and Winchester, when they saw it, because they didn't want a semi-auto, they wanted him to make another lever action shotgun or a pump.
Right.
And he's like, I want to make semi-autos, and they didn't, of course, take him up on it. Remington took him up on it, and FN took him up on it. And then they started taking the country by storm, and Winchester was like, we have to do something to keep up with this. And so they got all the patent rights to everything Browning made, but he just couldn't help but throw a little kink in their plan, so he wouldn't give them the patent rights to the bolt handle.
The charging handle.
The charging handle. So the only way to charge this gun is to grab the end of the barrel and push. So they call it the Widowmaker because it's hard. So everybody puts it on the ground, puts their hand over the barrel, and leans down and cocks it, and that's how it got the name the Widowmaker. That's the Winchester 1911 self-loader.
Now that's awesome.
And they tend to like to beat themselves to death and break the forestocks.
Because they couldn't use the friction ring setup, so it's got a different setup, and it really kicks.
I love those patent wars. It always makes things so interesting.
Oh yeah, they always find a way
patents
around.
Been going on since Colt started with the Patterson.
Yeah.
I got another one around here that's offspring of a patent war between Colt and Smith and Wesson back in the day, but I don't know where it went.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, the Thur.
That little that one that has like 2 sentences written about it in your Colt book.
Oh no, the new line.
That's
The
69.
new line. Yeah, twice
Yeah.
as short.
There is actually a whole book on that little pistol. I got it downloaded off of Kindle, and it's a guy said he looked it up and only found 2 sentences on it. So he went to the Library of Congress, and he said it's actually a pretty interesting story. I haven't got very far into that book yet, but I need to.
Here we got Ethan reading Colt books.
No, it's a Smith and Wesson book too.
Hey, Snapper, do you have that? You have that Dragoon handy?
Oh yeah. Hold on one second. This is falling. She's right
I don't know if
here.
you've seen this. This is original Dragoon, Duke. I don't know if you've seen this, but it has a thumb or fingerprint in the exact same place as that Walker. And this is
Right.
the first model Dragoon.
There. Got to follow the camera. Right here, there's a really defined fingerprint.
And the
Quite defined. As a matter of fact, on top of the barrel, there's a little bit of one too. It's not as pronounced. It's kind of hard to see. You obviously wouldn't be able to see it through the video, but the one here is very pronounced. It's kind of dumb that I've had this gun for as long as I had and didn't even notice it. I just thought it was normal, like rust or, just the way the metal looks. And when I was looking at it, just cleaning it, and I was like, that looks a lot like a fingerprint, and noticed it more, and it's definitely a fingerprint.
There has got to be a story on how in the world you stumbled into a first model early production Dragoon original.
Not really. It just came up and I got it. And it was in bad shape when I got it. The barrel was shot out. So we had to replace the liner of the barrel. And the cylinder pin was just gone. It was walled out. I had to do a lot of work. Thank God I have a small machine shop in my garage. And I basically slowly put it back together. Just like this 51 Navy right here, this conversion.
Mm-hmm.
I bought this gun really cheap because it was blown apart. And this gun is actually about 40% U-Birdie, modified a lot to make the gun work. And it works and shoots and fine. The cylinder is 100% U-Birdie. The cylinder did not survive the gun blowing up from its previous owner.
So this is originally, it was originally a center fire conversion?
Yes.
Okay. So 38 Colt, 38 long Colt?
That's what it was in for Ed, yes. And the story that I got was it was converted sometime in the 70s to go to 38 special. And then somebody decided to to load it up really, really hot. And the gun didn't survive it.
So they put a 357 Magnum in it.
That's exactly what I didn't want to say it, but that's exactly what happened.
Or plus P.
Yeah, or anything.
Yeah, I was told it was a 357 Magnum. That's what I was told. But yeah, the gun, it was bad. The frame was like completely bent. Had to heat it up and rebend it back. Had to make a whole new arbor pin for it. I bought a Uberti cylinder for it and actually had to sleeve it and then rebore it out to the right size for the pin that I was going to be making for it to try to get it as close to the original as I could. And the barrel was fine. The barrel was just fine. And yeah.
So I got one I got to show you guys here. And before I bring this out, yes, this thing has been declared a relic. I got the paperwork, everything to prove it. But this is kind of a rare bird I got. That is an original.
Oh, is this the one I think it is?
Yeah.
No, it's not the one I thought it was.
Oh,
That's the original German MP40.
Oh, yeah.
This is a relic. It's a battlefield pickup that somebody went back in the 70s. The Bass Stone is where it was found at.
Wow.
And, yeah. I got the bolt kind of, I can take it apart and look at it, and it's I think it's serial number 830 something. So this is like very first year production, right off the assembly line, very early MP40.
That's cool.
Very early.
Non-shootable, right?
Do what?
Non-shootable.
No, it has been declared a relic, so it's 100% legal. If you look at it, you can see how rusted that thing it was. It's just, yeah, it's a relic.
Pretty cool.
It still got the Bakelite grips on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Tell you what, you might send me some pictures of that here when you guys get done.
Okay.
Speaking of relics, I saw a video on YouTube of a guy cleaning up a single action army that was a relic, and he wanted to figure out what the serial number was. He looked like a dentist or something. And it ended up being a serial number that's in a book that was picked up at the Little Bighorn sometime in the early 1900s. They had a fire go through there, and they picked it. And he found it at a gun store, or not a gun show, and he paid a lot for a relic. But it was just an early cavalry model that was a relic. And when he cleaned it up to try to read the serial number, it was actually in a book. Being it was picked up at the battlefield, many years after the battle when they had a fire come through.
Oh,
they're on YouTube.
Garrett's got a relic over there on his wall. He's got a cylinder for a Remington New Model Army.
You almost said 1858. I heard it almost come out.
Yeah.
I have left the ways of the Remington and accepted the ways of the Smith & Wesson.
Well, at least you've left the ways of Remington. Speaking of that, Duke, go back to another question. Did you see Duelist's video this week, Duke?
Which
on
one?
The Colt single action history?
No, I haven't watched it yet, but I've been going to.
Oh yeah, well he come to a place, and I was showing him this earlier. I was going to point out to you where he said, a lot of you Remington guys are going to write me and tell me all about how Colt stole the top strap, and he's like, you're probably right there. And I once again hold up this 1855.
Colt was experimenting with top straps during the early production of the Dragoons, so he had the idea long before Remington just kind of come in and said, oh, hey, he made this root with a top strap. I'm going to copy this and make it a little bit simpler.
And
really
take all the internal actions.
And then Smith & Wesson tried to copy that too. And, it didn't fly.
Yeah, all Remington did is it took a single action, like 51 Navy, took the root, put it together, and you had the Remington.
It's even got the root cylinder ratchets, kind of. They're a little shorter, but the same design.
Yep.
I'm not hating on Remingtons. Some people ask me that a lot.
The only thing
I don't
that made
remember-
Remington better than Colt during the war is that Remington charged half the price that Colt was charging.
And then Colt's factory burnt down, and so Remington got a go.
Yep. Which
Well, the thing
I still
about-
hate the factory burnt down. I've been trying to get a letter for that Dragoon and my 51 Navies, and they don't exist.
Yeah, probably not.
That
Fires are bad.
factory burning down. That's a interesting way that affects Smith and Wesson. I was reading the other day. That's the reason why one of the reasons why Smith and Wesson didn't turn out a big bore pistol until 1869, as far as a cartridge gun, because of that factory burning down. There was such a demand with the Union Army for pistols. They were backed up till 1866 for Smith and Wesson number 2s.
And then
So-
did they cancel on them? Didn't they cancel on them?
Some people they really saw a lot of cancellations in 1865,
Jeremy.
of course. But that was the reason why the 1.5 came out in 65, because they couldn't make any other pistol except for that number 2 Army from 61 till 65.
Well, boys, I'm going to have to duck out here, but yeah, it was good chatting with y'all.
That was fun. This is our farewell to Ethan for a little while.
Yeah, Ethan, you have fun, and we'll catch up with you again when you get back.
All right. Yeah, I'll have to see if I can live chat from somewhere.
Right.
Being a pogue, I'm sure I'll have wonderful Wi-Fi.
Of course.
Take it
Hey,
easy, guys.
when you do get there, take care, Duke.
See ya.
Ethan, when you do get down there, I always have to go into Arizona quite a bit for my father. And hell, if you ever have any free time, we might swing down there and hang out a little bit, do some shooting.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Yeah. I'm kind of interested in that original you got there behind you, Snapper.
Oh,
That's a Sea Service, you say?
Yep, British Sea Service short model, the later variant.
Any idea what year it is?
I
Just need to get
not really. I am still doing research on it.
Wi-Fi.
That's it. Still doing research on it.
My internet is not working.
And
You're working, Ethan. You're still alive. You were.
There.
I
Kind
hear
of.
you. Yeah, there you are.
And-
Go ahead.
it's crazy fun to shoot. I actually love shooting this gun. It is insane.
So are you shooting shot or ball?
I was shooting ball out of it for the most part, but it wasn't full size ball. The biggest I could find was 58 caliber, so it's quite small.
What
I
is
think it's 62 if I remember right. 62 caliber.
That's a 62, yeah.
I believe it is, if I remember right. I'm not the greatest with my memory with half these things. I have to write it down and look at it later on. I'm pretty sure it's a 62.
It probably is.
And yeah, I'm shooting 58 there, and it's fine. It's fine. I've shot through it twice. That's probably the best way is to treat it like it's a shotgun.
We lost one of Ethan, and now we're getting two. Oh, man, I thought we were going to get two of you, Ethan. No, I was shooting 58s for a while in my Northwest trade gun. It's a 62. Finally found a 60 caliber mold, which works pretty good.
Pretty
Yeah.
good.
I got
That's what I got to do is find a bolt.
several of them 60 caliber bullet molds.
It works pretty good, but I think that the bore on the Military Heritage 62 is a little tight because I'm using pillow ticking 0.10, 0.10, whatever you call it. And it really is tight. I mean, it is really tight. Even for a smooth bore, it shouldn't be that tight. So I may have to try to move down to like a 59 or something. I don't know. I'll have to look at it.
Or you could do an original. I'd have to look into how to make it, but they use paper cartridges on those. So get a thin enough paper, it's gonna go right down.
Yeah.
I'm
always like
unbelievably cheap, and I like using coffee filter paper. That's 90% of what I use. I'll nitrite it so it combusts. It works great.
like to-
I'm not wasting
You
anything.
nitrate your flintlock cartridges?
What's
That's
that?
cool.
Do what?
You nitrate your flintlock cartridge, your paper cartridges for your flintlocks?
Yeah.
Cool. Never
I
tried
got a
that.
crap ton of potassium nitrate since I like making my own black powder. I just bought the stuff in bulk, and
Yeah.
so I have a lot of nitrite lying around, so it doesn't take, it's not hard to just dip it in water mixed with nitrite and let it dry out.
So you're able to put the whole paper cartridge down that gun? Or are you dumping
Yeah.
the powder?
I'm
the whole
doing both. I tried both
Yeah.
and it works. Both ways and it
Okay.
works. I do vent pick because I noticed if I don't, I do have a hard time getting ignition.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it works.
Yeah,
That is
that's pretty good. That's a pretty cool pistol there.
Yeah, I was really happy because when I got it, I got it for pretty cheap. And
Yeah.
they're not worth a whole crap ton of money. They're really not. They're worth a little bit, but no, nothing crazy. And this one came up pretty inexpensive, and I picked it up, and I was super happy with it. It's a little worn out. The lock is. The frizzen is pretty loose, but it sparks well, so I don't complain. And I actually got a video that I'm going to be making pretty soon on how to make flints, because I can't nap to save my life, but I figured that diamond cuts tile just fine, so it should be able to cut flint. And I bought some diamond saws for Dremel, and I just cut it out. And then once you have overall shape, then you just tap the front of it, and it'll crack off and have a nice sharp end.
I don't know if you watch British Muzzleloaders any.
Oh yeah,
his channel. But he has a tool on there that is just a piece of brass round stock with a little step ground into it, and that's so far been about the best flint sharpener tool I've seen. But there's another guy I was trying to think of who I'd watched on how to nap your own flints, and it's been so long I can't remember. But I watched his video, and I went up to Fort Riley, and they have them big old, just big old pieces of that cornstone.
Yeah.
Which is just flint. But I was taking that stuff, and you just get a big old piece, and you drive a flake off of it, and it takes some time to get figured out. But we were doing Bradley gunnery up there one time, and I couldn't do it because I didn't have a Bradley commander. And so I just spent that I think it was like a week just trying to practice figuring out how to nap out my flints, and I got it down pretty well. Made some pretty decent flints out of those.
Yeah, I could never shape the flint and get it to be the right shape and everything. So I just cut it to the right shape, get the whole dimensions made with a diamond cutting and with water. And then on the nose of it, I'll tap it and sharpens the flint, and it works great. I have really good success doing that. It's not the right way to do it, but it works.
Yeah.
Tom Fuller naps my flints, boys.
Yeah, he napped most of mine too.
I heard Caleb back there.
Yeah, he's back there. He's hiding.
Whoa.
This Hawkins, the first gun I've ever seen that wanted it won't spark unless you have the flint in upside down. I've heard that there were guns like that. This is the first one I've ever seen get it.
Your frizzen's a little out of time.
I don't know what it is. Probably that coil spring.
Is it a little Becky lock like Noah's Traditions?
It's bigger than Noah's Traditions, just a little bit.
Well, that lock on Noah's Traditions Traditions flintlock lock is fast. So I wonder if that's going to be just as fast.
I would hope so.
Single trigger?
It sparked decent.
Single trigger?
Do what?
Single or double triggers?
No, it's double.
Oh, set trigger.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Got a set trigger on it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that'd be one heck of a cool gun for a kid. Like for your son, that'd be cool.
And that's my first rifle I had was that 50 caliber inline. And the cool thing about muzzleloaders especially if you're a younger shooter, is you can load that thing down low or lighter if you want to.
Yeah.
Make a nice little light recoiling gun.
You're gonna wait till he learns how to walk first.
He's already learned how to walk. So.
He can lay down now, so he should be able to shoot prone. So
yeah.
Hi, Olivia's in the room. Hi, Olivia.
Well, at one point there, we had, I think, 16 viewers. That's the highest I think we've ever had.
What do we have now?
We're at 9 now. But
that's not bad.
I can't see the chat just because
you can't see the chat.
No, if I pull it up on my phone, it covers all of us over. So gotcha. I figured I'd just see you guys. If there's anybody says anything, I figured you guys would.
Yeah, we used to not have it on the phone, and I finally got this computer set up, so I got a 32-inch ultra wide. So you guys are over here, the chat's over here, camera settings are over here.
Very nice.
I'm pretty well set up.
That computer makes it really nice for editing. Because I can
That's
see
what
that
we bought it
whole
for.
timeline on that screen.
We got it for that. I had to part with my GP100, but we got this computer. It's pretty fast.
Yeah, that's something that I need to get is a good computer. I don't have anything good. Just cheapy, crappy laptops.
What's
Yeah.
that laptop you ran on for so long, Ethan, before it finally about died?
That Dell. All I know is it's a Dell. I bought it from my old squad leader, and I had it airdropped to me while I was in Syria, and it was
There
at
you
the
go.
bottom of the pile. And
Ooh.
so now every time if you pick it up just wrong, like you try to hold it out with one hand, it'll freeze up. You'll lose all your progress.
Yeah.
But
we have a dueling video that we went up and made with Duke, and it's going to have to be 3 overlays with 3 targets. It was going to be 6 overlays, and Ethan's computer looked at that and said, So that's one of the reasons we were like, we're gonna do this. We need a new computer that'll actually do some high power editing. We can put out 45-minute video in about, I don't know, it takes about 30 minutes to put it out now. Whereas like the history of the handguns occult, the last one we did, I believe it took 2 days to render that on the phone.
Well, I did that on my cell phone.
Yeah, I know. And so we had to move up to something else because it would render for a day and a half, and then something would happen and we'd lose it, and then we'd start over, and it was a nightmare to get that one out.
Yeah,
Actually,
I had problems with that doing my cell phone as well.
That 51 Navy video was not near as hard to get turned out as the 49 Pocket model. So I did all that editing in the pickup while I was feeding. And a matter of fact, I think it's that one you can actually hear in some of the voiceover. You can hear the cattle bawling in the background.
Yeah. That's what we would feed, and he has a different job, but he has the same. We work together. We would go, and he'd open gates, and I'd say, jump in, you got a minute, you come with me, we'll go feed, I'll go under all these bales, and while we're doing that, we'll be voicing over in the pickup. And yeah, there's a few cow balls in there, but that was fun. Hit a bump, and he would send one clip clear to the end of the video. That was good times. The chat's kind of dead, funny. Guys, or his mind just slowed down.
It hadn't been a whole lot of conversation. There's a lot of viewers for us, but not a whole lot of conversation.
This set trigger has 2 different spots. One, yeah.
Yeah. Like for me, that set trigger on that gun made the trigger harder to pull.
So is your Colt a 4 3/4 or 5.5 snapper?
Mine's a 4 3/4.
Okay, so this is the replica.
It's got the double. It's got the double stamped Colt address on the barrel, so it's obviously a real 4 3/4 barrel.
Yeah. Okay. So
I've had people say, "Oh, mine's all number matching," and they have the long. Yeah, I wish I had the wood groups. Tell you to believe. I like the feel of wood over the gutta percha, but I like the way the gutta percha. It's just one of those things. This was the gun that I got, and I love it. And it's the black powder frame with the screw instead of the.
Yeah, that's what I went with on my replica.
But
that's just for a replica. Of course, it's not even comparison. But my brother-in-law has some gutta percha grips Colts, and I absolutely love those things. They don't feel like plastic; they feel like a full hand.
No, they don't.
Like a Hogue grip. They got lots of good grip on them. I like those things a lot.
They are good. Believe it or not, so far, because this is the first time I've ever held a real gun with ivory grips when I made mine. I see why ivory grips were so popular. They're really comfortable to hold on to, and they grip no matter if they're dry, wet, whatever. It grips better than wood. It grips better than anything I've ever held. I've never messed with stag. It might be comparable to that since it is a bone.
Yeah.
But I like it a lot. It's just ridiculously overpriced if you want it. And plus all the laws and stuff now, and they're good, but I understand it. I want to try that synthetic stuff that's supposed to be really close to real just to compare it to see if it, how it actually is.
Magnatusk. I would love some Magnatusk. The only ivory I have on a gun is this one right here. You can't see the end of it, but this is a double barrel. and it's got ivory beads. And so I took that thing into Cabela's one time, and they were like, "You can't even." At the door, they knew what that was. They're like, "No, you can't even bring that in here." They were like, "No, we do not deal in ivory anymore." So, oh well, I got to keep the gun. Is a really good idea, probably.
That's not ivory. Just kidding. All right, Caleb. I'll let them laugh at you. Caleb wanted me to show you what he calls his ivory grip Smith & Wesson. I said, Caleb, I don't think it's ivory. He said, it's close enough for me.
Patton would like to have a word with you.
You what?
Patton would like
Pat might have a few words about you.
Yeah, he would.
He didn't like those.
Caleb's either a pimp or a prostitute.
Yep.
You hear that, Caleb?
He's over there giggling.
Olivia, do you have any questions for any of us in here? Seeing as you're the last one I see in the comments. The last one to comment. But no, you were saying you had you were thinking about getting a Griswold and Gunnison frame. This is our Griswold, our homemade Griswold. It's not actually.
Believe it or not, your guys' video, because I've seen them, like Griswold and Gunnison. I always thought they were cool, but when I saw you guys make that from that 51 Native, I was like, damn, I really want a Griswold and I wanted to do that, just make one. And then it was one of those things I ended up finding an original frame, and like I said, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, when we started this one, we were like, yeah, we could take these brass frame Colts and make a bunch of these and sell them. And then about 3 weeks later, when we were done with this one, we were like,
you're like, no,
that ever again.
Matter of fact,
that stuff is hard to work with.
That is either way. If I do find an original frame, that means I've got to basically still do what you guys did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to fit a barrel of some kind. I see whatever I can get to fit and modify to fit. I'll probably just use, Pieta or Uberti parts.
Well, Pieta actually makes a good barrel. Pieta actually makes their barrel on their reproduction. Griswold and Gunnison's good. It's just their grip frame and trigger guard is not good.
The real question is who has the most malleable gunmetal frame.
Yeah,
because that one we worked with, you could heat it up as much as you wanted, but as soon as you started to try to bend it, it broke.
It break.
And if as soon as you were hot enough to actually bend it, it ran. But I think to do it again, if I were to just do it again, I would just start by just cutting it.
And that's kind of what it seemed like you guys were making a point of in your videos, just cutting it. And I have welders, TIG welder, and all that stuff, so I can try to TIG weld.
Take your brazing.
You gotta use.
Just take your brazing rod.
We got the metallurgical expert back here making comments.
Kind of seen it here.
Okay,
but this was completely cut, and I mean at a sharp angle. And so when it went back together, it was a sharp angle. And let me see if I can get the camera to pick that up. You can still see just a little bit of an area there with brazing, but that was just all completely filled with brazing and then sanded down. So, and the braze looks just like the brass. So
that's good. So you can't tell the difference. How does it shoot with that weird angle? Does it actually? Do you find that as being helpful or harmful?
I love that angle.
The angle doesn't. The angle does not really affect me at all. I mean, a little bit because I shot this gun so much before with the regular angle, but not really. It feels like, okay, if I was to say you're more like, feels kind of like shooting a flintlock. And if you're used to doing that, flintlock pistol.
Yeah, this thing has that straight back, basically.
Yeah.
So, it's
kind of like that one.
Yeah.
Ethan, he shows an original and you bring out a replica, Ethan? Really? Really?
No, I don't care.
Show us something original, Ethan. But the grip frame does not really change a lot. If anything, I would say it feels like a Schofield.
Like a Schofield?
Like a Schofield. Okay. Yeah.
I've never actually held a Schofield or a Smith & Wesson No. 3, unfortunately. That's something.
I'll tell you this: that Russian one. That trigger spur is there for a reason, the Russian model, because that thing is just so far back
back.
if you don't have the hammer spur there, it is a real pain to try to get to that hammer. But other than that, it makes an
iPod
excellent
Walker
target.
has a question, Ethan. iPod Walker has a question for you, Ethan.
No, we do not have a Model 68. We're working our way up there. Right now we've started off in the old stuff, so we've got the Model 1 second issue, Model 2 Army, we got a Model 3 Russian, a Schofield, Model 3 double action, the 1.5, fourth generations, lemon squeezers.
What's
As
that
far as the
one
newer Smith
Caleb
and
just
Wessons
picked
go,
up? That little blued one Caleb just picked up not long ago.
double action. That's the number 3 double action in 44 Russian.
Okay.
And it is
No.
first
The little
generation.
blued one. Little blued one he
The little-
just picked up.
Oh,
Little
that's the
blue
32.
lemon
That's a 32 caliber new departure safety hammerless, the lemon squeezer.
Okay. Carry
But
on, sorry.
as far as the newer ones go, post Daniel Wesson, as like 20th century guns, we got the 1913 now. We got Model 13, Model 29. Can't really think of any other ones we got of the newer variety, but we're working our way up there. I got a lot of Smith and Wessons, just not a whole lot of time to make my my videos on them. Need to get back on that. I'd love to get back on that, but I really am not have a whole lot of time.
If
Yeah,
I had to
especially
have
not
a
only for a
modern
year.
Smith,
Yeah.
if I had to have a modern Smith and Wesson revolver to carry and use, I really think that the Model 10 is one of my favorites. Just the way it looks, the way it feels.
And see, that's
we don't
the
have
Model
one right now.
well, kind of we do. That Model 13 is it's a Model 10. It's a handy jet model, but it's been the steel has a different heat treat to it, and it's got a heavier barrel. It's essentially the Model 10 heavy barrel, and that is the most accurate handgun, maybe next to the Luger I've ever fired. I actually got a video I need to put out on YouTube. I did on my phone where I actually split a playing card at 15 yards with that pistol.
When are you gonna
Have you
put
shot
that
the
out?
Mauser yet? The C96?
Yes. The what?
The
The
C96
C96.
Mauser.
No, we have not. We got to get some.
Wait till you shoot
get
that
one.
and then tell me about accuracy. I
Yeah.
shot
Wait.
one recently. I have a friend who has one, and it blew my mind. Like, I'm
feels
not the
good.
greatest shot in the world, but it made me feel like I was the greatest shot in the world.
Yeah, it feels good in the hand.
It feels
really
like
do
we had
like
like
it.
2 rounds, Ethan. Didn't we have like 2 rounds for that when we shot in the Normandy video? What was
No,
that?
that was the Carcano. We had one round.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like you were
one
saying,
round
how
we used it.
on the Luger, you could just hit anything at like 100 yards or whatnot. That's how that
Yeah.
Mauser is too. At
Yeah.
least the one I shot was like that. It actually surprised me a lot. That was like a sniper rifle pistol. That's the best way to
Yep.
put it.
Yeah.
I'd never shot a gun so accurate in my life. Actually, that was a pistol.
Could
That
you
could
imagine
be
once
something.
you put the stock on how accurate that would be?
Oh,
Oh
man.
yeah, and I didn't even shoot it with a stock. I mean, I just shot it regular. With a stock, it would be incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. That might be something with them German guns because the K98 we got, which we got from well, I hate to name names, but we got it from Royal Tiger Imports, and that's the
You hate
last
to
gun
give
I'll
out-
ever order from them.
We hate
Oh,
to
they're
give
horrible.
out any advertisement.
But yeah, I wouldn't suggest doing it business with them. They are horrible. But we got this one from them, and I looked at the bore and I was like, that thing looks like a sewer pipe. It looked bad, but we
Wow.
took it out in our Normandy tribute video, and
Yeah.
consistently 150 meters, boom, boom, just
fine.
hitting consistently 300, hitting perfect. So I don't know. It may be the way them German guns are sighted into me at least, or something.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. It just
Oh,
it shocked me. The C96 shocked me. Like it was like I opened my eyes. I was like, I need one of these now. And what sucks is a friend of mine that I have here in Vegas. It's a really big gun guy. That's how we met. I was buying a double-barreled shotgun from the only gun store in Vegas that's nice that actually sells used guns.
Yeah.
And me and the guy were talking. He's like, "Oh, I actually have a gun I wanted to show you." And I had just bought this double barrel, and my wife is like, "No more guns." And then he brings a C96 out, and I was like, "I want to kill you right now." You know that? Like, thanks, guy. And the guy next to me is like, "Well," and the guy, they had it for sale for $600. It wasn't a beautiful gun, but it was good. And I was like, the die by my wife's hand, or
You
Just
didn't
let
give her
it
the old
go.
investment speech?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I do, but
You don't know
she
if
likes the guns. She does, but I can get a little over, as you can tell with my Colt. I can get a little overzealous.
there's a gun store there in Vegas that actually we did business with. We went and bought a first generation, first issue Smith and Wesson Model 3 American and 44 American off a gun broker from them. Paid
What was the name of the store?
$1,200 for it and never saw it. Never heard from the guy again. I know the name of the gun store, but yeah.
What's the name of the gun store? Was it called Accuracy Gun Store?
Nope, it's called Top Shot Firearms. It's owned by, like I
I've
said,
never
don't like
even
to name
heard of them.
names, but guy's name's
No,
Gary
if you
Shank.
paid money, you should name names, man. If you paid good money and the people
Yeah.
that keeps other people like us from getting screwed over for these same people.
Oh yeah.
I've never even heard of that gun place.
Well,
And I go around this place like crazy.
The
It might just
owner,
be on online store.
no, it's
yeah.
it's a brick and mortar store. The owner's name's is Gary Shank. He was a Top Shot contestant back in the day, and he lost. And I got a hold of him, and we went round and round and round. And he kept on telling me, he's like, "Well, the money order never showed up." And I was like, "Yeah, it did." And then finally, he's blocked me on everything. I can't get a hold of him. I had my local gun store guy call the ATF on him, but I haven't heard anything out of that yet. So we'll see.
Huh.
But that's my worst experience on Gunbroker so far.
Gunfighter 45
that sucks.
ACP. Black powder wise, he likes snubbies. He wants Avenging Angel, etc. But there are so many fakes out there. Okay, we've got to. All right, Gunfighter, we're going to do it. We're going to get down and do a Remington and a Colt snub nose reproduction test and see what that's about. But yeah, I'd be a little worried too about some coming into some cut down fake Colt for an Avenging Angel. I believe Avenging Angels were 1860 Armies. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Porter Rockwell had those. He also said he's looking for a Texas DPS issued model 28 4-inch. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, me too. I'm trying to figure out what I need to get next in the Smith and Wesson series. I've kind of played with the idea of going out of order and kind of doing it from there, but because like I said, that one Smith and Wesson 44 American we had, that is like the only one I've ever found that was halfway affordable on Gunbroker, and it's gonna be a pain trying to find a new one of those. So
how long ago was that, Ethan? How long ago was that when you ordered that?
Ordered it in December.
Just past December. If you want, just write me an email. I'll go up there. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
I'll talk
sure.
to them. But I trust you guys enough that I would go up there.
I still have the receipts hanging on my wall.
Yeah, send them to me. Scan them and send them to me in an email. I'll go up there.
All right.
I'll at least try to find out what's going on, because that's crap. If he stole your money and didn't send you a gun, that's crap.
Well, the funny thing is we're not the only one. I went and looked on his Google, whatever you call it, the reviews. There's lots of people said, I bought a gun from this guy off Gunbroker, and I never heard from him again.
Well, so, what he does is he'll mark it penny auction, and if it doesn't bring what he thinks it ought to bring, he just disappears and changes his account name.
Yeah, that's crap.
So that's how that works.
But real quick, for you guys who are looking at original guns and you don't know if you're looking at an original or a fake, right? My number one suggestion is, I'm down here. I could go upstairs real quick and grab it and come back down, but you do not buy a gun from the way it looks, period. At all. Because that's how you get screwed. There's a really good book that is, I believe it's called like the Colt Single Action Shop Manual 1 and 2, Volume 1 and 2. And they have all the Colts from 51 Navy, 60 Armies, Single Action Armies, everything with original sizing of everything. And there is no reproduction that I know of that is perfect to the same size as a Colt on the 51 Navy, 60 Army, because I've had those and I played with them and the parts do not fit perfectly, so they had to be modified. and the barrel's a little bit bigger or the cylinder's a little bit bigger, you buy a gun with a pad and a pad and a piece of paper, that book, and a set of digital dial calipers.
Mm-hmm.
And if everything measures out right, then you buy it. If the person wouldn't let you measure it, that should be a red flag.
Mm-hmm. Check your screws.
Yes. Yeah. And yeah, the originals, they're not metric screws. So, and Pieta and all that, those are all metric screws.
All the reproductions I know of, except one right off the top of my head right now, are using metric screws, except the Freedom Arms guns. And if you get a Freedom's Arms gun that you bought as a Colt, you might as well just keep it because you'll be happy with that because it's worth probably more than a Colt.
Well, you're probably about to lose me. My phone's about to die. It's got battery issues, so I'll hang on for as long as I can. But if you see me disappear, you'll know why.
Hey, after this though, call me Ethan, and I'll help you try to figure out at least what happened to your gun.
Yeah. Like I said, Top Shot Firearms. That's the name of the store. So
I'll check it out.
All right.
This town is full of enough crooks and thieves that we try to get rid of them as fast as we can.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you buy a gun, do not go off looks. If you go off looks, you're going to get burnt almost every time.
Yeah.
Because you can make a fake that looks so unbelievably convincing that unless you measure it, you will never know.
Yeah.
They're out there all the time.
I'll tell you one way. If somebody's trying to sell you, this is going to the going into the
rifling should be gain rifling in most original Colt.
If you're going into the Smith & Wessons and you're looking for a new Model 3, look at the top strap. If you see a big old screw on the top of there, it's not right. That's a modern reproduction because they put the Russian thumb screw on the top of the top strap on all those new model reproductions, new Model 3 reproductions.
But on a thing real quick on the rifling, the game rifling, it is possible that it has been rebarreled, or they'll bore out the original barrel and stick a new one in. I don't know of anybody who makes gain rifling because that would be something I'd love to do. Because my Dragoon, we had to just put in a regular twist, and I would love to be able to put gain rifling back in it because I heard they're much more accurate that way.
I would say even if it's been rebarreled, that ought to be on there.
Yeah, you'll know.
Yeah,
you'll know. There are ways to hide a rebarreling if you want to make it look special, but if you don't have the right barreling, like the right barrel, like to do game twist, you don't want to hide it because then it's obvious you did it. But because then they'll look down the barrel and go, "Oh, that's a fake." If you can't see it, because you could just TIG weld both ends and then mill it and everything so you wouldn't see the barrel fit mismatch. But yeah, game twist is a huge thing to look for. Bye, Ethan.
Bye. Now we can talk about how great Colts are and how bad.
Yes, we can. Now that he's gone,
he's gone. Get rid of him. Sorry about that. I slammed this. Just slammed a 170-year-old box shut.
that root is really cool, though, man. That is a pretty sweet little gun.
Yeah.
That's something I would love to get as a full cased gun. That'd be pretty cool.
I was looking through the Colt collection. I think all we have now is, and I know where one's at. I need to go get it. It's in a pawn shop, but we need the 1889 Navy pistol, the first swing out cylinder, and that's all we got left to get. And it's actually cheaper than when I say that's from. That's all we need to get from the Patterson to the 1911. I don't have a bunch of Pythons.
I know.
In my back pocket, but that's
I think they're cool, but I'm not a big fan of more modern guns.
Yeah.
Once you get to the 1911, I'm kind of.
Yeah. I like them. You can almost buy a replica single action armory for what you spend on a Python or an Anaconda nowadays. And an original one, not the 2020 redos.
But
I don't mind them.
So, what was the last time I saw you guys on a live show, you guys had that pepper box.
Yeah.
Tell me about that thing, man. I'm interested in those. I think they're just cool as all get out.
The one we have is crap, but The one we have is not original. It's a replica, and it is a very poor replica. It's a 4-shot, and I mean, to an extent, it's they tried somewhat. It's the sightings and everything like that is the same. It's a double action, but it's literally you look down the barrel and all you see is the hammer.
Yeah, that's kind of what they always remind me of looking. I saw In Range did a video on one, and it kind of shocked me because I thought they were really, really crap at first. He actually did pretty good with it. I mean, it's obviously a really up close gun, but
at card table distances, it would be okay. I mean, but I'm just not into them that much, I guess. And if I had an original Thurber and Allen, I would probably love it, but I wouldn't shoot it that much, probably a little bit. Hey, your birthday's in 2 days. Somebody's saying happy birthday, Snapper.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you're going to get
I wonder who that would be. It's either my wife or my son.
Well, maybe they're going to get you something really cool for your birthday that's a Colt.
No, I hope not this year. Anyways, well, I wanted to go to Tombstone this year for my birthday, just because that's like my favorite place in the world to be. Mm-hmm. It's so cool there. It's not very big. You do run out of stuff to do there, but it's like when you hold one of these old guns, you feel the past in it. You just feel it. And then it has like a soul to it. And that town is like that. There's something about that town that, it's just, it's very, very amazing.
So how far is Tombstone from actual old Tucson studios?
If I remember right, old Tucson Studios is in Tucson, like right on the outskirts of Tucson. I want to say it's like a 2.5, 3 hour trip.
Oh, okay.
It's not too far. It's not very far.
Yeah.
My parents live in Phoenix, so we always go to Phoenix, and it's like a 4 hour drive or so, 3.5, 4 hour drive from Phoenix to Tombstone. Huh. And I recommend Tombstone for anybody who's never been there. It is,
A-okay, huh? That'd be cool.
It is
we need to get down there.
What's nice is you can dress like a cowboy, right? Which, where I live, you'll probably get some looks, but I mean, people dress weirder anyways. But the nice thing about it is you can wear a gun belt and you can, put your Colt on your hip and walk around like you're freaking own the place. It's awesome. And, there's a lot of places with open carry, but it's more fun there.
Yeah.
You don't have everybody looking at you like you're some weird guy.
I got this, of course, the movie Tombstone and everything.
Oh, yeah.
I got this right above my hat is a painting that I got from Buck Taylor before he died. And
nice.
He wrote on there, I said, would you sign this one for me? I had a couple of them that day. And he sat down and signed it for me. He signed it Turkey Creek Johnson.
That's cool.
So, yeah, that's
cool.
I have that one framed. I got one from my brother-in-law that he did that he painted. He painted Val Kilmer. He painted it on the set, and I got that from my brother-in-law, and he signed it the same, Turkey Creek Jackson.
That's cool.
Johnson, I think. I got to look at it.
Matter of fact, my 10-year-old son, he was working on a drawing of Doc Holliday. Yeah. He's a good little artist for being 10 years old. He way draw better than I can.
Really?
He's talented. I don't know where he got it from, but I'm lucky with stick figures. This kid can draw, man. Like, it's pretty cool. I'm actually happy because it's like now I can just use you to make money.
Exactly. There you go.
Exactly.
Well, my dad can really draw, and I can't draw anything. But I went in there one day, and he just started drawing, and I left the room, and I came back in a little bit later, and he had a complete Quigley, and it was just the most perfect Tom Selleck I had ever seen, and it was done all the way down to the the trench coat, and I love that. I love that drawing. I need to get
that's pretty cool.
Hang it back there. I got a spot for it. You hear me, Dad? I need your Quigley drawing.
See, now I got to figure out which one of you. Who owns the 1877 Lightning? You guys have?
Caleb, other brother.
Caleb?
Yep. He owns a lot of the guns.
I'm gonna have to start begging every time I see him. Sell me that gun. Sell me that gun. Sell me that gun.
He will not sell a gun. That's why he has almost all the guns.
That's a good thing.
Usually, Ethan and I will buy a gun for review, and he just gobbles them up. But we'll buy it and we'll have it for a little while, and then we'll be like, yeah, we're going to sell it and get something else to review, And so he'll just buy it, and it goes in the backlog over there, and we take the money and get something new. So it all works out that way. But yeah, the whole thing.
You know, a lot of people think that's crazy, but I know people who've done that in their lifetime and then retired by their guns, just literally slowly, and they have more money than they would if they would have invested in like a 401k.
Yep.
But a matter of fact, selling is why it was hard getting this gun because
oh yeah,
it was one of those. It was in a family for so long, and they had it for sale, and I was just like, why would you sell this if it's been in your family for so long? And it was in a shootout with their great grandfather, and it saved his life. And that would be like number one important family passed down thing to me, and it just blows my mind what people will sell just because they're not either into guns or they just see it as an old piece of metal taking up space.
Yeah. See, that's what my brother-in-law still has his family's guns from a guy named Lou Draper. He fought for the North in the Civil War, and they still have his original 51 Navy and his original 61 Navy. And he had those guns for years and years and years, and they moved out here right after Civil War. You know, family got a ranch out here, and that's still the ranch we work on. But they kept those guns for all those years, and he liked that 51 Navy. When he had the chance, he converted it, and now it's a 38 rimfire, and he kept the 61 in cap and ball, and he carried those guns all the way up to. He carried those guns into the 1900s, and his kids carried them. They've been on the ranch ever since, and I want to get them out, get them on the channel, maybe if they'll let me. But
that'd be cool.
Sometimes
that'd be really cool.
Sometimes that's an issue.
Yeah, no, I got you. To me, some of this stuff is kind of crazy. Now, there's actually, you might know this. I don't know if I've ever asked this in the chat before when I was on chat, but if anybody watching this video might know this, what was the pistol that General John Bell Hood carried? Like, what was his gun for the Civil War? And the reason I asked that, he's actually my great-great-grandfather. And I really want to know, just because it would be pretty cool to know.
The one guy that can answer that question, it was the one who was supposed to be here and then had
be here tonight.
Plowboy.
Yeah.
Plowboy could probably tell you, I think. Being from Texas, it wouldn't surprise me if he carried one of these. I'm not saying he did, but
it wouldn't shock me either, because I mean that was one of the few guns that made it across at the beginning of the war.
Yeah, so the fluted cylinder 1860 is very possible. But I'm sure he probably had a 51 Navy's. You know,
that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. That's what I'm thinking, just because that would have been really common, and it would just be kind of cool, because especially if I actually, already have a gun that he'd fire, it just means more, like, oh, this is what,
I'm sure he had either Dragoons or 51 Navies from before the war. But
I'm from Texas. My whole family's from Texas. We moved out of Texas not long ago. 12 years ago, 13 years ago now.
So you got the cult history.
Yeah, I got a pretty cool. My family was part of a lot of Texas's history. It's kind of what sucks about not living there anymore. Is there's some deep ties in my family to Texas, but.
And what part of Texas were they from?
Well, more central Texas. But for my personal life, we moved around everywhere. My parents were like gypsies. They moved all the time. I've lived all over Texas. But roughly where Fort Hood is, believe it or not, that's actually central Texas, is where most of the time our family, like the larger party of family, Gatesville, Texas, which is right outside of Fort Hood.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gainesville. All over the place. Gainesville, Granbury, Texas, all over the place.
My mom's family came from around Gainesville area. They were cotton pickers.
So my mom's family was, believe it or not. Hell, I picked cotton when I was younger. It sucks.
You did? You did?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny,
like hauling square bales. It's something everybody's done once.
Yeah. And then you do it once and you don't want to do it again.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Hey, Dad. My dad just checked in down there. But anyway, anybody in the chat got any more questions? We're almost to the 2-hour mark. We'll probably cut it off somewhere around in there, or Ethan will have to. Last time it went on a little longer than we anticipated.
That's all good.
But yeah, no,
if you
good
have me on again,
conversation.
I'd love to come back on to you guys' live chats. It's fun.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah,
fun.
it is. And I wanted to get you on here, and we were a little rushed, but if we can get on here with Duke and Plowboy and some other guys, it's a lot of fun. But this has been a really good conversation because not many people I know of besides Duke you have a pretty good knowledge of Colt firearm history. You've been in the books, I can tell, and probably in a lot of the same books we've been into. Of course, I have to ask, have you been in Haven and Belden?
No, I have not.
History of the Colt revolver, big old what Duke
Oh,
calls
yes,
the Bible.
yes. Yeah, believe it or not, I don't own that book, and it is a book that I am desperately trying to get.
We'll get it. Some of the information's a little outdated, but there's a lot of stuff in there you just don't find anywhere else.
Matter of fact, a big reason I want that book is there's a single, it was a Dragoon. No, it was a single action army. And it was some experimental model that actually has like a whole chapter on it that had, it looks to me like it had an ejection system that was either gas powered, like you'd fire it and the gas would eject the other cartridge, or is some way you pull it and it would actually rotate and eject at the same time. I have that on this coffee table book that I have upstairs that this stupid thing. Sorry again for this.
No, but it really fits in on this channel.
Yeah. It just really sparked my interest seeing that gun. And they had a bunch of experimental guns in this book that I have. And it's always mentioned in that book. And that's a book that I've been wanting to get. It's just every time I have any little extra money, I end up throwing it at other guns instead of books.
Duke always tells me, and he's kind of my Colt mentor, has been ever since we started this thing. He always tells me, spend more money on books than you do on guns. And I didn't get
That's smart.
Until I got into this so deep. And then I was like, I get it now.
There's a lot there.
This information is not on the internet.
No, that's what's crazy is there's so much information that seems to be out there in books that is just not on the internet. Mm-hmm. And that's a shame actually, because for the longest time, that's how I did most of my learning and studying was off the internet. And then you realize the good stuff isn't on the internet. The good stuff's in books.
No. Yeah, absolutely.
And before you know it, you have everything.
What you'll find on the internet, and I started my very first video was my Patterson video. I had Haven and Belden and the internet, and those were two things I had. And it's still a good video. It's got a few things wrong I want to go back and fix. But what I've discovered is what you find on the internet is the strongest opinions, because they're just things that have been regurgitated over and over and over. Article to this article to this article to this article. And then you go back and look in the books and you're like, wait a minute, where did they even come? Oh, somebody came up with this in the 1960s and just repeated it until it became
then
gospel.
Until it becomes a gospel, and then it's known as being the truth, which might not even be true. It's just somebody's opinion.
Just for instance, say how fragile the 1877
is.
And you dig in that gun, you're like, well, this gun isn't that fragile. It's got one weak point, but it's not really that fragile. And then you realize, Colt sold 114,000 of these things between 1877 and 1910. Something's going on. And some of the biggest
people who made a living with their guns carried that. If you didn't trust it, why would you carry it if your life depends on it?
Yeah, and I'm not saying there's not some lemons out there. I think a rider probably got a hold of a lemon. Or
you know what it could be is they 1960s, say, right? The gun's almost 90 years old at that time. Mm-hmm. And then when they pick them up and start playing with them, they're a 90-year-old gun with some... and then they would break and, these guns are pieces of garbage. Well, it could be just because rust has gotten on springs, pitted it a little bit and created a fracture point, and that's why they're breaking.
I see. I haven't done a lot of the research on the 1877. That is actually from that duelist video I just watched that he put out this week. And he said they made 114,000 of them. I'm like, well, I'm starting to understand now how this goes down, how this how one person can say, and it'll be one person, especially in like we were just talking in the 40s to the 60s, where there were 3 or 4 people who were the authority, you know,
Yeah.
and they would write a book, and that book was the authority on that, and they had some trouble with one, and everybody wrote them off for the rest of history. When in reality, it's not any more fragile than anything else. Ethan's back.
Hey, Ethan's back.
I see a gun. What do you got there? What is it?
What do you got there?
I can't even tell
That's
from
Smith
that
and Wesson, number 3 double action.
Ooh.
Had to go borrow my wife's phone.
There you go.
Hey, Ethan, you got Dad. Dad wanted to show that picture. If you can do it, I don't know if you can do it.
I'd love it if you could.
How many people are still? He said he has Sitting Bull on his Facebook. How many people are still in chat, Ethan?
10.
Oh, good. We still got lots of people watching.
You know,
Sorry, Ethan's the only one who can see how many people are here. At least I can't. Maybe Snapper can.
I can't without clicking on
No.
chat. I don't believe, and then it covers everything up, and all I can see is the chat.
Yeah.
you know, I've been a Smith and Wesson guy for a while, and I just now realized what I got hanging on my wall here.
Yeah, I've known that.
Nice.
I've seen that a few times. Thought about it.
Oh well.
So,
It's a pretty
what
good
is
little
your
gun.
go-to book, Snapper? What's your go-to book? I mean, we all have them. What's your Bible?
When it comes to the Colts, it's called the Colt Single Action Army, and it's a shop volume 1 and 2, but it doesn't just have the Colt Single Action in it. It's got all the popular, 51 Navies, the 60 Armies, several. That is my raw data, like numbers. And if I needed to make a part, the stuff that's in there, you can off of it. That, a lot of internet searching, and I have several other books. The problem with Colt, though, is you have to be careful with the books, because there's one gentleman who ruined everything that we know about Colt.
I know who you're
Colt's
talking
life
about.
upside down. He was faking guns. He was an authority on guns. He has a lot of books on guns. A lot
He
of
was
books I
selling
have are
guns
from
left
him.
and right. He would
And
make
he
a gun
was-
famous.
Yeah, and he was ripping off the museums by saying, "Oh, we need to buy this gun that's super duper expensive at like this price," and then he would sell it for higher. He was laundering guns, basically laundering money. They believe a couple of the real rare guns he faked.
I don't know if we're actually saying his name or not, but the museum, the museum.
I don't remember his name without looking at a book. I have a horrible memory. You can mention him. People should know this. This is smart, good stuff
We'll
to know.
let it go. Go look up Ian's videos or Forgotten Weapons or Othias.
Yes, that's where I found out about it.
But the Colt Museum up there would say you can have duplicates to sell for the museum. And he's like, "Oh, duplicates. Oh, so this prototype 1860 Army zigzag. That's a duplicate of an 1860 Army."
He did a prototype of the Patterson that he sold. It's like there's no such thing as a duplicate to the prototype of the Patterson.
But yeah, there's go look up. I don't want to say his name wrong anyway, but go look up the Forgotten Weapons video on the Colt. I want to call it Colt Sham or something like that. It's a very interesting video. A lot of history. And that's why Duke and I were stuck with Haven and Belden so long, even though some of it's a little bit wrong, is because this guy tainted everything from 1965 on to today is tainted.
Yeah. So I think he's dead now. He passed away a while ago, I believe.
Yeah, but people are still, like I just said, they're regurgitating things that they've heard that he said. And so you really got to dig deep. Hi, Ethan. And Haven Belden is a good place to start. And like you were saying, your gun. Here lately, I've been into William Hoseley. He has a book called Colt, an American manufacturer story. He talks.
Hey guys, give me just 1 second. I'm gonna have my son go grab that book upstairs, so I can show you guys it.
Okay. But yeah, he talks a lot about manufacturing in the Hartford Armory and stuff, and that's a good book. Ethan, what book have you been into lately?
There's 2 books that I've gone through. One of them is the history of Smith and Wesson. That one goes into a lot more detail on lot more detail on the designers, Daniel Weston and Horace Smith, their kids. Well, not their kids, Daniel Weston's kids. And it also goes into really good detail on the guns. But if you're wanting something that covers everything from the Smith & Wesson Model 1, well, even goes back into the Volcanics and the Jennings rifle, all the way up to the Smith & Wesson M&P 15, I would suggest getting the standard catalog of Smith & Wesson. And
That's not it. That's not
it
it.
does
It's on
pretty
my
good
nightstand.
too. It'll have about a page or half a page on something. It'll tell you about serial numbers, who carried what gun, what their serial number was they carried. Yeah, those 2 books are the ones. I just got done with History of Smith & Wesson. It's a good book. And Garrett disappeared.
Yeah, I think he went to go grab something.
Yeah.
Oh, here he's coming. Uh-oh. We can't hear you, Garrett.
Can you hear me now?
Nothing.
There you are.
Now, yeah, there you are.
Again, I was testing out that I got this new microphone that has a mute. Didn't work on me the other day, so I was testing it out.
Let me take this over here.
But here's a few books I'm in right now. And
The books are the real jewels of all of it. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of funny. Like 10 years ago, 90% of I heard you guys, you grew up in a small town and whatnot. You guys had books and didn't have internet. I grew up in the internet age where we saw books as being worthless for the longest time. And now I'm getting older. I was like, the only thing that really is the truth now is coming in books.
Yeah.
Like the things that I could really trust, I'm more or less finding books now. Instead of just, like you said before, regurgitated over and over on the internet.
Yeah. This is one I'm in right now. If I can say it. This is the old pocket model pistol by
Oh, that's cool.
C.H. Pence Jr. Actually, Duke sent me this one because he got 2. And I'm not using it for the 49 pocket model right now, but I am using it because there's a lot of information about the 55 root. And then, of course, this is a good one. This is by William Hoseley.
Yeah, I have that book.
Making American Legend. There's a few things wrong about the Walker, but a lot of the stuff that he goes into and gets very well detailed is the history and the of the manufacturing. And of course, these are just the ones I have here. The other ones are at Ethan's. But Haven and Belden. History of the Colt revolver. This is the Bible. It has about everything. And another good one is Elmer Key's 6 guns. Elmer Key's 6 guns has a lot of good information. Yeah. And that
was actually a newer book that I got recently.
Yeah, it's really good. It's got a lot of good information, a lot of good stories.
Yeah, what is that? What is that opening quote in 6 Guns about? Perfection and Smith and Wesson and.
Is there a way to mute him?
Okay, he didn't get everything right, Ethan. He didn't get everything right.
Everything right. The man, he was a man. He was flawed. Okay.
It could also had something to do with Smith and Wesson went and made the pistol he begged and begged and begged for finally, and all of a sudden they were his best friend.
That's kind of how the world works, though. I mean, if you're really trying some, you become friends with the people helping you.
Yeah. But I guess
what's that?
I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see too here. So
I'm waiting to see Snapper's book. So we can't start off yet.
All right.
Can you guys give me just 1 second? I have to run upstairs. My son can't find it.
Yeah,
I know where it's at if you guys are.
Yep,
give me just 1 second.
We'll be here.
Oh.
How many people's here now, Ethan? Still 10?
9.
Oh, that's
not 11 for a while.
Bye.
It's okay.
I'm about to start fire.
Dad, I don't think we can get the picture on just now. I'd love to. Well, I would absolutely love to. Maybe we can get a copy of it to hang here in the stream room.
Oh, it was over there, but it was on.
Where's that other?
So you're gonna be ready to make a Northwest trade gun video in the morning, first thing.
I reckon
bright and early?
we got a lot I've got to do tomorrow.
I need all Duke's information, all Duke's videos put back on this PC too.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, I didn't turn off my mic. My bad.
You can mute him, Ethan. Go ahead and mute him.
I can't.
I'm almost back. I'm almost back. No worries.
He's almost back.
Sorry, my bedroom's a long ways from my living or my dining room.
All that Las Vegas
Okay.
big house.
Yeah, it's just not fun having a house with 4 air conditionings and having to pay for it.
Okay,
This is the book.
Colt revolver.
This is the book. It is, if you're going to buy a real Colt, consider buying a real Colt. This is the book you want.
Yep.
And, 1 second, guys. The reason is on the inside of it, it has measurements of all the real ones. And what's neat is it even has measurements of all the replicas. So, give me a second, see if I can find something real quick.
So it's a shop manual. That's
It
interesting.
is, basically. But it has a lot of good information, like how many they made and what calibers, everything that changed over the years. So, let me just a second. Like, for instance, here's the 51 Navy and 60 Army. But that has, but it actually has the measurements of every single part in the gun and how to measure, like, anything that you would ever need to do to the firearm as well, like any maintenance whatsoever. Gives you part numbers and how to actually do it step by step.
Yeah.
And it is quite amazing.
Yeah.
Trying to find the page that has the measurements on it. But like here's, for instance, here's your hammer spurs, your hammers.
Yep.
All the different variants and how they're cut, different measurements, and it gets in here to some crazy detail.
I was about to ask you, what's the sweep like on that original hammer? I mean, compared to, say,
it is nothing like that. It's nothing like it. The best way I can explain it to make sense is those reproductions, they feel very close, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's one thing they're missing. I think the steps are cut too deep. And those, because when you actually rack this one back, you barely feel the hammer clicks. You can barely feel it. Like you can hear it real nice and loud, but the clicks, I almost don't feel it at all. It just feels like I'm sweeping it back. If you took the bolts and the trigger out and you're just on the spring sweeping it back, it feels like that.
Hey, can you hold that hammer up to your camera? I wanted to see it.
This one?
Yeah, hold your hammer up to your camera. See, there's the difference. Mine is definitely got this reproduction definitely has more height on it. That's more of a low swept hammer. It might be a yearly deal, but also
they changed a lot.
Also, the back of your hammer comes down more sharply. I mean, it's more rolled over. So that's interesting.
Yeah,
I never have them side by side to compare.
I'm gonna show you my books I got here, and then I'm gonna have to get off here because Maggie's phone's about to die. And it's the last chance I got to shut the live chat down.
You went through 2 phones, Ethan. My God.
Yeah, it burns up the battery pretty bad.
Amazing how fast you film with a phone. You know how fast that camera runs your battery down.
But
I had 100 when we started, and I'm at 47 now.
Yeah, I can only find one of my Smith & Wesson books. I don't know where the one I just finished went, but there's what I tend to refer to as the great big book of everything for Smith & Wesson. It's a pretty thick book. And the other one, like I said, history of Smith & Wesson. And then for my flintlock stuff, I've got this right here. There goes that one. This is the flintlock. It's by Torsten Link. It goes into the origins of it and the different models, and it goes down to markings and even engravings and stuff on some of the royal guns. And then I found the best way to learn about like how guns were loaded and stuff and the flintlocks is they go back with like Robert Rogers, War on the Run, and this one I haven't read yet, but I'm going to the Diary of or Journal of Nicholas Creswell, and I know he talks about using a fusil de chasse in this book to shoot at an alligator, but it didn't go off because it gets wet. So,
Plowboy's in the house. Hi,
I'll
Plowboy.
be here.
He finally showed up down there. He's in the chat. He's not on the.
Yeah. Hey, Plowboy, do you know what pistol General John Bell Hood used in the Civil War?
General Hood's pistol, Plowboy. Hey, Squib, we still haven't got your microphone on.
Oh, poor Squib.
We could just get the microphone on. We'd have him.
But real quick though, like if you look at this page, if you look, you can see first, second, third gens and the measurement difference between them on the frame.
Okay.
And it's that way through the whole book. You'll go from the real Colts, you can go to the replica Colts, and they'll all be there. And that's why I said if you ever want to buy one, even the 51 Navy 60 Armies, buy a digital caliper, a cheap one. Bring a book like this down, and if it's the first gen Colt, the numbers will match the book. And if it's not, then it's not a real first gen Colt. Or it could be something different. And you could compare it and actually figure out what it was, like really is.
Yeah. You got to do your
This book is have to.
Especially if you're going to get a Walker or a Patterson.
Yeah.
Oh, Plowboy doesn't know off the top of his head. Man, Squib, you're here. If we could just get your microphone on. Your microphone's shut off, and Ethan can't turn it on for some reason. You're muted, Squib.
Yep, I just tried. It said can't unmute your guest because they chose to mute themselves. So, yeah, I don't know.
If there's something on there, Squib, it says you can unmute it.
Yeah,
Man,
well,
Plowboy, we sure missed you tonight. Maybe the next one.
yeah. Well, want to try to wrap her up, I guess?
I guess we've been going for 2 hours and 17 minutes.
Been a pretty good live chat, though.
You like my new hat,
this is fun.
Do
you
what?
like my new hat? You like my new hat?
Oh, yeah? Where'd you get that at?
Yeah, the secondhand store.
Huh, cool.
Sears and Roebuck.
Oh, that's nice.
$5.
I'll be wearing this one tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow? A wife had you gone, Plowboy. Well, that's understandable. That's absolutely understandable. Duke was only here for a minute too, so we got to get together.
Long hunter hat out.
I'm really glad we had Snapper on tonight because, like I said before, there's a lot of information in that brain down there.
Thank you.
We're going to pick it a little harder, get some more cult information.
Well, like if you guys want, I'm more than free and happy to come on your guys' live chats. Just hit me up. I'm pretty much retired now. I don't do much. My health has been on the decline, but that just means I'm more free and available to play with toys. So
yeah.
You bring a lot to the conversation. You do really do, and I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Are we about ready to close her down, Ethan?
I reckon so.
Give it 2 more minutes, minute and a half. Anybody got last minute questions in the chat? Anybody that's even still there? I see Dad's in there. I might have to get Dad on one of these sometime. He can do some drawing. But any last minute questions? How many people still in here, Ethan?
Got 11 people.
Oh, we gained somebody.
Nice.
Probably Squibload.
Yeah, I feel bad about that.
We'll get him on the next one if he can't get on this one. We'll get it worked out ahead of time. I think he's traveling.
Yeah.
But
yeah, got my long hunter gear already up. Got my long hunter gear all ready for tomorrow. So
TNT 86. Something tells me that he's they're with the Wild Snapper crew.
Yeah, I think that's my wife. I think.
Oh yeah, well, thank you. It was a good chat. There'll be many more in the future. Well, Ethan, I think you can shut her down.
all righty.
Just kick us out of the studio. We don't have to go clear away.
I'll just end it right here. So
Okay.
bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Trust in
everybody.